Hello, and welcome to Twisted Veil, a Through the Breach Malifaux campaign presented by Ink and Lyre. My name is Brent. I'm your dungeon master, your fate master, your narrator of the story, and we are here to have our first episode of Malifaux's Twisted Veil. But before we get into that, we of course, in good faith, have to talk about our partner, Nine Realms Gaming. Dice are precious. They are shiny, they are gorgeous, and we all love them. And because they are something we love, they deserve a home. And fortunately, Nine Realms Gaming gives amazing dice boxes and trays, the finest woods this realm has to offer. I highly suggest you go take a look at them. And while you're there, when you visit their website, you can use our exclusive partner code LIAR10 and get 10% off. As one who has many dice boxes myself, I can say, choice. So choice. Give it a look-see. For our other announcements, before we get started, we also have to talk about our channel points. We have channel points on this channel, also called scrolls in our case, where as you are earning scrolls watching any of our streams, whether it be this new phenomenal, amazing stream, which, well, I hope it goes amazing. We definitely haven't been having technical difficulties. It's definitely going to be so smooth. When you collect those channel points, you can spend them during this channel or any of the other shows on the Ink and Lyre network to suggest a poll, a community challenge, who we raid at the end, as long as you're live with us. Great system. So definitely collect those. Not entirely sure what we're going to do with Twisted Veil yet, but I'm definitely going to come up with some fun ideas. We are also going to have a giveaway at some point in time. So around the break, we're going to kind of announce it to get the giveaway, which is a beautiful shirt with the Twisted Veil logo that just came out, which I believe is going to go up on the stream. And I'm going to have faith that's going to be there. I'm not even going to check because we are qualified and know
Look
what
at
we're
it
doing.
now. It's beautiful.
There it is. Yes, I can see it in my mind's eye as you can see it on the screen. There it is. Gorgeous. Black, simple, wonderful. We are going to do that giveaway starting at the break. To be a part of that giveaway, you are going to have to use the !loot command to enter the giveaway. You must be a follower to enter. It is our way of giving back to those beautiful people who decide to follow us. You love us, we want to love you back as well. And of course, cast members of Ink and Lyre or Fate's End or Twisted or any of the shows cannot enter because we do not love you like we love followers. You are slaves and you will obey and play in our games. With that, grab your script you can find, tip your hat to Lady Luck and to our players because they're going to need it. And let's board the train into the first episode of Twisted Veil. Welcome back. So, for those of you new to the Through the Breach system and Twisted Veil, it's a wonderful system that uses cards and allows the players to like sort of cheat, fake. It's a wonderful system. I personally love D&D, but the tabletop world is a buffet, and we have to sample all of the dishes. So we are using this system to use a different world, a world that is more based in fear and horror and consequences, which hopefully you will enjoy watching as much as I enjoy running. Our story does not take place in a distant land. In fact, it begins here on Earth. The year is 1902, and the world is rapidly changing as it booms through the Second Industrial Revolution. The age of monarchs fade as the world steamrolls into governments, and political views on the back of invention have changed everything. The great locomotive, the iron horse, the train, has shifted the way human beings interact with each other. But industry and invention still operates, still relies on one key ingredient, different to our own history, but very real in the earth of the world of Malifaux. The ingredient of magic. As the world grew, the magic of Earth dwindled to a flicker of its former self. Yet when all hope seemed lost, mankind opened a portal. A breach, so to speak, to the world of Malifaux. There, our beloved faction known as the Guild begun to mine and capitalize on the very precious resource called Soul Stones, a battery of sorts that could be used to cast and amplify magic Earthside. However, the only way to get to Malifaux is through the breach. And the only breach is located in the largest city in all of the world, Memphis, Egypt. Ellie Wylie, it's been a few hours since you woke up. And while your companions, Dr. Murphy and Tobias Cook, have already left for the station to get on the train to head through the breach to Malifaux, you find yourself back at the room because you forgot something. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you forgot.
Ellie, kind of sleepy-eyed, didn't sleep well, having slept on the floor, but is used to it at this point, although it still is uncomfortable. Has brown, shorter length or a little bit longer hair that has not been washed in quite a while. As she walks into the room, she sort of just pushes the door open, letting it slam against the wall. And she has this kind of leather vest with these straps across where you can see a pistol holster underneath. And she holds a black sort of hole dotted duster jacket. Her trousers also are just covered in various patches. Her shoes sort of starting to fray as she strides in. And she has this stern face, this set jaw, and her nose looks as though it's been broken a couple of times. As she looks around the room, this slight kind of squeaking sound happens as she moves her left arm, which is entirely made of metal. It's pneumatic with these rusting gears, pins, and wires sort of winding its way around the arm. And you can see on the arm a little barcode and then A97 underneath the barcode there. As she sort of looks around, she sees the hat. She has sort of just this kind of makes bad looking, almost fedora-like hat that's definitely seen a lot of time on the ground, used as a pillow, that she snatches back up. I'm gonna be late, and turns and prepares herself to leave.
So it was the hat you forgot?
It is the hat.
Gotta keep the hat. You gather your hat, take one last look, and then make your way to the train station, eager to enter the world of Malifaux. Meanwhile, we cut over to Dr. Murphy and Tobias Cook. You two have been cutting through the city, dipping between the towering buildings until you find yourself near the heart of the industrialized district. There, the train station known as the Breach stands. Towering archways with faded yellow stone lead to an open platform. Here, long hanging banners waft gently on the desert breeze that passes through the open arches, and you can still feel that heat, that constant sensation of sweat just pouring out to keep you cool in the middle of Egypt. Each banner hanging here advertises in fancy script: Malifaux, the land of magic, mystery, and opportunity. A variety of posters and flyers offer hopeful descriptions of how one can start over in Malifaux or find their own fortune. Each recommends that one has to just see a guild officer for further information. However, you have managed to obtain tickets. As you two are waiting on the platform, what are you up to? And tell us a bit about yourself. And we'll start with Mr. Cook, Mr. Tobias Cook.
Okay. So, Tobias Cook he's dressed very professionally. He's got the beard. He's got of course, the newsboy hat. He's clean. Looks like he has a little bit of money, but he's still a working class man. He's got the vest. He's got on his side a bag, like a shoulder bag, full of notes, full of papers, books, and things, and of course a camera with, for taking pictures. Big boxy camera, old-fashioned. So Tobias is at this time probably taking notes on the scenery, what his interviewees is doing at the time. Asking what kind of what he expects. What can I get into the questions, or should we let him introduce himself first?
Give me a taste of that dialogue, and we'll swap over to Doc. But
Alright.
What are you asking?
So tell me, Mr. Murphy, what do you expect to? How do you expect the transition to be like? Because a lot of people, when they go through the breach, they see some funny things. Do you have any expectations of that, or how are you feeling right now? Take notes.
Dr. Murphy, what do you look like, and what is your response?
Dr. Murphy is a 26-year-old Irish man with red-tinted brown hair, cut short on the sides, longer on the top, and it's always shifted towards the left side of his face. A porcelain mask and pneumatic arms stand out on the right side of his body. He's wearing a white shirt rolled up to his elbow, the top button undone, and a blue vest over the top. He's currently carrying a black leather doctor's bag, and he has a bowler cap and a tweed overcoat resting over his arm. He is currently in the process of, he has an open notebook out and is sketching something within the city. In response to the transition question, well, I expected to I expect it to be much like the same effects as being drunk.
Effects as being drunk. Very interesting. I guess we can see if that holds up. When we actually make the journey.
What about this propaganda? Is it true?
The propaganda? Of course it's true. The guild is very interested in helping all new citizens prosper in the city. Of course, so it's not propaganda, it's facts.
I see.
Mm.
What about Ellie Wylie? Do you know she's joining us today?
She should be coming up. She should be coming up soon. She said she had something to do back at the room, so hopefully she'll make it on time. Wouldn't want to be late. The guild waits for no one. Train won't go on without her if she doesn't hurry.
Ellie Wylie. Shortly after that conversation happens, and I'm going to say for story purposes, like the interview continues, right? Cook, you are talking to Dr. Murphy, asking him like more questions and everything. A few minutes go by, and eventually Ellie Wylie comes sort of like, walking with a purpose up onto the platform. There you see your friends, Tobias Cook, or well, I think friends is a little bit too generous. You see your compatriots, Tobias
Distant
Cook.
acquaintances.
Yeah, people you've recently met and interacted with, and Dr. Murphy. And sitting alone, a few benches away from them, looking very, very sweaty, is a short, port, balding man with a shameful comb-over that you recognize, of course, as Mr. Hubert Melville. Who do you wish to talk to, and what do you do?
Hey, Tobias. Is it gonna be this hot over in Malifaux?
It's a hot Malifaux. It's close to the Badlands. Yeah, it's gotta be hot. It is
not like this. I mean, this is Egypt, man. This is like the desert of deserts.
Okay.
It has muggy areas, but it's not a horrifying desert like Egypt.
Right. Okay. So it's not in the middle of a desert like our fine city here, but it's got its own seasons. Yeah. Miss Wylie, how do you feel? What do you expect the journey to be like? Because a lot of people, they see a lot of weird things on the journey.
Expect to sit in a chair. I expect to ride the train. I expect for no one to ask me any questions. It'd be nice if there was a drink. What else do you want?
I guess we can see what we can do. You did agree to be interviewed after all.
No, yeah, I'm being interviewed. I'm answering your questions. I just don't know what to expect except for riding a train.
All right, well, maybe we can ask some questions after the journey.
What do you expect it to be like?
I've made the trip a few times.
And what is it like?
I've seen a few things here and there. Seen, my reflection winking at me a few times. I've seen my dead parents sitting next to me. Or not my dead parents. My parents who aren't there sitting next to me.
Your parents dead?
They are not dead. They are not
All
dead.
right. Just making sure.
Hallucinations more often than not. But it's a kind of a common experience for a lot of people.
So should I expect to see a dog, my best friend?
Anything on your mind, anything you're afraid of, be prepared for it.
Cool. All right. Dog. I'll be back in a little bit.
About dogs. Okay.
I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna look at Hubert, who's sitting on the bench there.
Hubert, he's noticed all of you, but has not approached. You can see that, like, the second you make eye contact with him, he looks back down at his twiddling thumbs.
Hey, Hubert. Hubert, come over here.
Yes. Oh, all right. He sort of hops off the bench and waddles over a little bit, looks up at you. Oh, are we ready? This is going to be quite exciting. How was your evening? I spent the night hiccuping at a bar until they threw me out because they got annoyed with me.
It was okay. I slept on the floor, had my arm fixed. It was a good time. Thanks for asking.
Sleeping on the floor. That's yes. I can relate to that. I can. I just want to say this is so exciting. The deception, the danger. It's like something out of my favorite detective novel, A Scandal in Bohemia. If you hadn't come along, I'd have probably spent the evening in the bathroom eating canned meats again.
That's a lot of information for me to take in. So Hubert, I'm going to just direct this for a second here. And I'm going to grab Hubert by the shoulders. Hubert's a little bit shorter than me. And I'm going to look down at Hubert's face and say, Tobias here has been on the train before. I don't think you've been on the train. And Tobias says that we're going to see our worst fears. So repeat after me. Dog. 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 We don't want to see our worst fears, all right? We're going to see dogs, okay?
I'm not afraid of dogs.
That's okay, because we're not trying to see our worst fears. What is your worst fear, by the way?
Hell, I don't know. There's so many, it's hard to choose.
Yeah, I figured as much. So dog. We're going to keep saying dog together, okay?
Yes, all right, dog. Don't worry. You can count on me. Dog it is. Never again shall someone spit in the mouth of Hubert H. Melville simply when he asks for directions. Yes, you can count on me. And as he says this, a streak of white bird droppings just lands on his shoulder, and he looks down at it and frowns.
Wipe it off. Yep, I can count on you, Hubert. I can count on you.
You're wiping it off like it's sort of smearing on your hand, and on the other shoulder, a bird lands directly on it, stares him dead in the eyes, and then just flies off. And he hangs his head low and says, "Oh dear, I hate when that happens. Birds constantly land on me."
I'm sorry, Hubert. Just keep saying dog.
Dog.
What else do you want?
Dog, yes, dog. We should be fine.
We will be fine.
We will be fine. We will. I will be fine. No longer will I listen to my neighbors snickering at me as they laugh when they go through my trash can. No longer. I will be fine.
And I pat Hubert on the shoulder before turning to my two companions, sort of shifting my back to Hubert, saying, "When do we get on the train?"
I think I see it coming now.
It starts with a rumble. Low and deep like a church bell. The hot iron rails begin to vibrate as grains of sand come alive, twitching, trembling. In the distance, the growing rhythmic drum of steel wheels turning. The waiting passengers move from their benches, gathering their luggage trolleys, picking up lone suitcases, and eagerly they look down the tracks through the open arch for the first sign of the approaching train. Steel on steel, the screeching of wheels. It grows louder. The rumbling of the train is so thick that your vision begins to shake. Then, around the corner you see it. The Iron Ram. A monstrosity of plated steel that looks more accustomed to military warfare than public transportation. A shower of white sparks sprays over you and the entire crowd as the stream comes to a screeching halt. A blanket of white-hot steam fills the loading station, temporarily blinding everyone in a cloud of fog. A lone bell chimes, and from within, a voice. "Papers, please. The Iron Ram will be departing for the city of Malifaux in 30 minutes.
As the train comes to a screeching halt, these sparks they're flying up and hitting hitting us?
They like almost like when you drive by fast and the water hits a curve, it just arcs over. And like it's not enough to burn you or anything, but it's kind of surprising. And then just like the mixture of steam and smoke from it coming from this hole fills it. Like you guys are in like a hazed fog where you can only see maybe about 10 feet in front of you.
I unconsciously just move as farther away from the arc of sparks that are just splaying off of this train.
Nimbly, you try to avoid them.
Alright.
As the man starts talking about the tickets, I'm going to start getting out my identification and my guild. What was it called? The GUP?
GIP. Guild Identification Papers.
Exactly.
Or GIP.
The GIPs. Show 'em my GIP.
So you take the lead. You walk up. You see sort of the train conductor standing there. He's waiting. You immediately sort of flip open your papers. He goes through them. Very good. Welcome back, Mr. Cook.
Very well. Hop on the train.
I step over to Hubert. I'm brushing myself, sort of unsettled as these sparks had gotten pretty close to me. And as I'm kind of reaching out to Hubert, you're noticing as well, surrounding that metal arm is just like the remnants of burn scars. As I grab Hubert by the shoulder, say, all right, let's get up. Brush the poop just a little bit more off of Hubert's shoulder, unsuccessfully, before saying, it's a lost cause. You'll get a different shirt later. All right.
That's not the
Remember
first
the
time
deal.
I've heard that before.
I don't know what to do when you're throwing these to me, all right? I'm just saying, Hubert, all right? Just let's have an upward attitude here, okay?
Right.
Positive.
Should we hold hands?
Yes.
Yes.
Remember the
we'll
deal.
Hold hands.
You're my husband.
Right, and you're
Okay.
my wife.
And if anything happens, if anybody gives you guff,
Cracks his
let
knuckles.
it. Nope. We
What?
haven't done any training yet. So you let it go. If they give you too much guff, I'll deal with it, all right?
You got it, miss.
There we go. Now take my hand, and let's do this. You have the papers?
He pulls it out of like the inside of his waistcoat and like fumbles and almost drops it, but then grabs it and holds it tightly with two hands. Yes. And he's pouring sweat at this point. Like his hair is matted to his head.
Okay,
What
give me the
little
papers.
left there is.
Give me the papers. I'll hold the papers, and I just
He
put on my
hands
coat.
you very, very soggy papers.
Can I
Good.
say this is the end game long-term romance arc of the campaign? Is this husband-wife duo?
And then grabbing Hubert's hand, I head off towards the conductor.
All right. He goes up with you. The conductor is sort of standing at, the top of the steps that lead into the train. He looks down and says, "Papers, please."
As he's looking down, I turn to Hubert and go, Hubert, you're so funny. Yes, the papers, of course.
You hand over the papers, and he sort of like touches them and does like a little, ugh, and begins to flip through them. And Hubert responds with, "Oh, yes, lovely day, isn't it, officer? This is my wife, Sherry, who I met in the Denham Valley and have been happily married to for several years."
I just squeeze Hubert's hand and say, yes, I am Sherry, his wife.
The guard looks at you and then goes back to the papers. And even though you're squeezing his hand, his moist, sweaty hand, Hubert says, "Yes, officer, the Denham Valley isn't in a city, but it's a rainforest just west of Lahadatu, and we were on a safari. I would know that because this is where I met my wife, Sherry, who I love and am very happily married to." And he sort of shuts the book and looks down at both of you, and kind of turns his attention to you, Ellie, and says, "What did you say your name was?" And I will
Sherry.
need a deception check with disadvantage to see if he kind of suspects anything.
All right. And then Deception is cunning or charm?
Cunning.
Deception
Cunning.
is cunning.
I'm presuming it's cunning. Yep. All right. Great. So I'm just staring up at him, right? I'm just clutching Hubert's hand as I'm doing this, trying to give that indication of like, all right, you need to be quiet at this point in time. You are not helping my case whatsoever.
Yeah.
And so with disadvantage, I'll draw twice and take the lower of the two results here. So I got a 6 of tomes, and I have 0. I have no deceptive abilities whatsoever. As I stare up at the guard and say, my name is Sherry Melville.
He hands you back your papers and says, welcome aboard.
Thanks. Come on, husband.
Oh, yes, my love, who I am very happily married to.
I can't wait to talk to you in private and near our seats.
Yes. You awkwardly enter the train. Doc, you go up. You have a legit ticket. You hand it over. Is there anything special you want to do or try to see or anything?
Nope. I mean, I'm saying as little as possible. So if I hand it to him and he doesn't question me or anything, I'll just take it back and walk right in.
You hand it to him. He looks at it. You're golden. He doesn't say anything. Just sort of nods and says, "Welcome aboard."
I'll nod back. It's like the hello gesture, passing gesture.
Very nice. So, you guys enter into the interior of the train. It's a dull gray cabin made up of like grated steel that you can walk on. Your steps sort of clank onto the gray as you're moving along. You can see that the windows, though currently open, they're slotted with metal shutters that offer a glance outside. The black wiring is sort of strung down the center of the cabin, and you can see that on hooks are these dull orange light bulbs that are protected by like a metal fencing. Yet, despite the blistering desert heat, the inside of this train is incredibly cold, to the point that like when you walk in, like the tips of your fingers are tingling. It's like that sensation if you were ever a kid where like you would sit in the jacuzzi and then just jump into cold water. A lot of your muscles are just like immediately relaxing from just the shock of transitioning into such a cold environment. And I will take a target number 6 scrutiny check from everybody.
I can do that.
I got a 1. As I come on the train, I'm just quietly whispering, Hubert, don't talk if you don't have to.
I mean, as a lawyer, I was told that you always have to have a story for all of your facts. So I thought I would make an exotic one where I knew times and dates and cities and where they were
Listen,
from.
Hubert, you and I
He
are
bought
both
it though, didn't he?
No, I don't think he did, and we're both really bad at lying. I'm admitting that I'm bad at it, all right? So
Oh no.
let's just not try to lie. Let's just not say anything when we have to lie.
In my law firm used to tell me that all the time. You would think as a lawyer I'd be better at lying.
Yeah, you kind of think I think you would be. I'm a little surprised.
Sorry?
Apology accepted. Let's sit down.
He sits down, just head hung low next to you. What are the other scrutiny checks?
I got a 6 of masks, so that puts me at 11.
Very nice.
I got a 1 of mass, which puts me at 2.
Makes
Y'all
sense.
are getting the ones out of the way now.
It makes sense that Tobias is the only one that notices, because you've ridden this train a few times before.
Mm-hmm.
The glass, like the corners of the glass around the windows, is covered in frost. and with your experience of like having ridden the Iron Ram, the official, train that goes into Malifaux, like this is normal. It is wild when you go through the breach. It is some extra dimensional shit where like sometimes the train will pull in on fire, other time it'll just be like covered in frost. It is a very weird, strange thing to experience. So this isn't new to you. You guys take your assigned seating where like you guys all are sitting together, but the seats have been turned to face each other. Almost like it's like an old-fashioned diner, but the table in between you has been removed. So on one side you have Tobias and Doc, and on the other side you have Ellie and Huebsch. And you're sort of like stuck in the situation where you're looking next to each other, and then a small child sort of climbs up onto the seat next to you, Ellie, and just stares at you. He's wearing a tattered brown vest and like a flat cap, and he's just looking up at you, not saying anything.
Hey.
Is that a real gun?
Yeah.
Nice. I've been trying to convince my mom to buy me one, a proper pistol, but she says I'm too young. I'm hoping Malifaux has an increased crime rate so that she can understand the importance of inspiring gunslinger like myself.
Respect. I understand. Here's what you do, all right? Like, set up some targets, take some shots, and prove that you have the marksmanship to be able to get one. Maybe then your mom will get you one.
I like the way you think. You ever consider a Colt single action with a custom grip and a shortened barrel? The accuracy isn't great, but the size makes it ideal for quick draws.
Unfortunately, I don't think about the smaller ones that much. I'm stuck with this one right now. I think a lot more about the larger ones, long arms, something like a sniper rifle with a scope. Those are really nice.
He blinks a few times, gives you like a knowing nod, like someone who thinks they're your colleague at this point. You ever kill anybody? Oh, Oliver. Oliver Finn.
And yes.
I hear people die all the time in Malifaux.
Yeah? Are you gonna die?
Oh, I hope not. But the question is, are you gonna kill anyone?
We'll find out. Kinda hope not.
Cool.
Do you want to kill anybody?
Well, I mean, there's like the folks that killed my dad and everything. And then like at this point, like the mother comes over and grabs him by the arm and starts like, I'm sorry. Oliver, this isn't our assigned seating. Come on, let's go. Leave the good people alone. And Oliver's looking over his shoulder as you walk away and gets led to his seat.
See ya.
He
nice
waves
kid.
back.
And I look at both Doc and Tobias. Nice kid.
I'm writing down one of our aspiring immigrants made a new friend on the train.
For a second there, I thought that you may have adopted a child as well as gotten married
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen. Yeah, that was not. I mean, I like kids and all, but there was a can of worms that was going to be opened right there. You know that phrase, right? You open a can of worms, it's when the food kind of goes bad and suddenly it's filled with worms. Ever happened to you?
Is that where that phrase comes from?
All right, fine. Maybe it didn't land right. Right, Huebsch?
Yes? No.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
The train starts to chug along. You guys are set in this awkward situation where you're kind of forced to look at each other, but it's rumbling, moving. Goes for about 15 minutes, and then it begins to slow. The constant pumping of the hot air flowing through the open windows has filled the cabin enough to that familiar dry heat begins to sort of shift back in. Looking outside as you're moving along, you can see like the limestone, the skyscrapers, the occasional waving palm trees. But eventually it comes to a stop and the shutters close. You know you're still in Memphis, but the shutters close. 3 men in long coats, deep crimson red coats, with black epaulettes walk into the cart. I don't know if I pronounced that word right, but it's supposed to be
Epaulets.
like the epaulettes. Thank you. Whatever those are, like the brushes on the shoulder that was like very popular in the French military. If you know what I'm talking about, they look like a brush turned down on it. They have those on their shoulders, but they're like just black and wearing like deep red coats. What do you do?
Are they like inspecting all the passengers, or they're just passing through, or?
At the moment, they just seem to be passing through. Occasionally, they look to a passenger here or there, but that's about it.
Okay. I'll mutter real quick to the everyone. Just act natural. Just act natural. They're just passing through. Don't worry about it.
I pull out a deck of cards and I just start dealing them out to each of us slowly but surely.
So, Tobias, what is the average travel time to Malifaux?
Not terribly long. You'd imagine it'd be longer going through 2 different dimensions and everything, but yeah, it'll be over before you know it.
I mean, you just have to travel to the Tear, correct? You travel right through once you get there?
You travel right through once you get there. There's one more stop before we head into the city. But after that, it's after we get through the breach, it's smooth sailing.
What stop do we make before the city?
What it's called? It's like not
Called Breach Town.
Breach Town. That's what it is. Breach Town.
Creative.
There's most things are already named, but when they got there, when they found the city the first time.
And when these hallucinations take place, when does that happen? Is it when you go through?
When you go through, you'll be ready. You'll know when they're about to start. You'll start feeling your skin starting to crackle a little bit, as if like static cling is building up on it.
Is there anything that helps with it? You just kind of got to deal with it as it comes.
Just brace yourself. That's all I can tell you. Everyone experiences it differently.
All right, Ellie, what game are we playing?
Playing 5-card draw. You ever played that before?
I've had my time at it. A hand or two.
We'll play for script. Because I've answered your questions, I need a little bit of help, Tobias. I need you to put some money into the pot for me, if you don't mind.
I ain't about that gambling, and you don't got your money yet.
Why don't we play for a favor instead of a script?
I like that. That sounds good to me.
That's agreeable.
Why don't we say a favor that's within the means of our profession?
Okay. I'll offer the first one just to set the tone, maybe. Or no, how about you, Doc? What do you got?
What do you mean? I just mean any favor that's within the means of our profession.
Oh, you're just being that abstract. Oh, okay. I'm game. All right, that works for me. So, highest card wins.
Highest card wins.
Okay.
If you guys are actually gambling, how much do you put in?
Putting in favors.
Yeah, we're
one
putting in
favor.
favors.
Everyone puts in a favor. Can I get a just flip on everyone unless they want to try to do something shady?
It's a gambling, right? Gambling flip?
Correct.
Okay.
Oh, it's not just who draws the highest card. There's a skill.
Oh,
for
you're
this.
using the skill of gambling for this?
It'll be
I'd like to.
gambling or cunning.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So gambling is cunning, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Come on.
That's a 5.
Okay. Let me get my card.
As I'm watching all of you, right? We all deal out the cards. I kind of turn to Hubert and say, "Are you in?"
Oh, yes. Favors, was it?
Yeah. Favor of being a lawyer. So whatever's in your profession, you'll be able to support us.
Sure. Yes. I can do that. Yes. Oh, I mean, I support all of you, my good friends. Yes.
Okay.
Someone flip for Hubert. He gonna be a straight. No bonuses, no negatives.
See if I can flip for Hubert. Okay. So Hubert got a 13 of masks.
Oh my god.
Hubert
Yeah,
won a favor
Hubert.
from all of
Yeah.
you.
Wolf, can you flip a card for me, please?
Yeah.
I got a 13 of rams. That puts me at 16.
So with the way this gambling works, whoever wins gets a favor from everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
that.
So Hubert has all the favors.
No, I think Cook has
Yeah.
a 16.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, because he has bonuses.
Oh, you have a bonus. Oh, you.
Did you get it, Jake?
No, I didn't.
I'm a cunning boy over here.
What does it look like when Tobias is using gambling in this game?
It's 5 cards, right? So he's I imagine we're like betting, right? Where it's just watching everyone and making sure that he knows when to hold him, knows when to fold him. It's obvious I don't gamble.
Yeah. Okay.
And a crows.
I got a 10 of crows. So it's down to you. No, so it's you, Tobias?
Yeah, with a 16.
It's a close match, and somehow Mr. Melville just seems in it. Like once money is on the or favors on the line, and you put some like cards into his hands, he's constantly sweating and shaking, so it's hard to read him. But Tobias outplays him, and at the end of the day, cards are shown, and Tobias takes the favors. So everyone owes Tobias a favor, and we will see
Nice.
how that plays out.
Did that look sufficiently natural enough for the marshals coming through?
Yeah. The stop goes on for about 10 minutes. While this is going on, you can hear passengers sort of whispering to each other, just like muffled talking, trying to figure out what's going on. And eventually the train picks back up. When it does, there were 3 men who entered the room. 2 of them disappeared through the door into the next cavern and did not return. The other one is sort of standing guard at that door. Meanwhile, the train continues to rumble along. At this point in time, hours go by. About 2 hours or so as you're just sort of chugging along. Again, the windows are open, like the steel sheets have opened back up, and you can see outside and like see the desert passing you by, the great pyramids in the distance. And eventually they slam shut. The overhead bulbs sway back and forth, occasionally flickering on and off. Everything about this ride is uncomfortable. There are no cushions on the seats. It's incredibly hot in here. You are essentially in a hot metal box. But then things begin to change. There's sort of a crackling sound outside, like lightning just striking and striking until it picks up to where it sounds like thousands of like little individual snippets of thunder just crackling. Purple light and beams of white begin to sort of peer through the shuttered cracks of the windows. The light bulbs in the train slowly brighten, as if there was a surge of electricity moving through them. During this time, I need everyone to make a notice check.
All right.
13.
Notice it's going to put me at 14.
I got a 10.
Ellie and Tobias, you are looking at the windows where these white beams of light are struggling to slip through the cracks of the shutters. And they're flashing by, and they're sparkling, and they start to become just like this swirling dance of color. Almost like fireflies just softly dripping around, moving around, but they're like blues and pinks and gold. The train sort of hits a bump for a moment. And while these two are not mesmerized or anything, but just like looking at the windows and be like, that looks weird, a card slips off the table and lands onto the floor. Dr. Murphy, you lean down to grab it, and you can see as the light shining through the cracks of the windows like a spotlight, it's shining onto the floor, and there you see a shadow. But the shadow is words, like someone, held a light up to a cutout, and you can just see the words in deep black in this halo of light that reads, "The words of the wilds will tempt you." And it's there for a moment, and you're like, what the hell? And then it kind of flashes like the train went into a tunnel, and it's gone.
Is there enough time to point that out to anyone else or attempt to? Or is it...
It's so quick that if you want, I'll say you try to be like, hey guys, but when you turn back, it's gone. It's just a few seconds.
I'm gonna pick up the card, put it back on the table, and then just kind of look down at the card and then secure the doctor's bag for a second and just take a moment.
You sort of grab it, pull it close to you. It's still there. Okay. Yeah, you guys sort of watch those lights swirling for a little bit, and then eventually they fade, and there's just this constant mixture of blue and white that seems to want to just pierce into the iron ram. But the shutters are keeping it out.
Tobias is grabbing onto the seat, making sure everyone's telling everyone, get ready, it's coming. It's coming, boys.
This is pretty. What are we at? Breach right now? We going through it right now?
We're about to. Hang on tight.
You hang on. There's a moment where the train shudders, but those lights don't fade. All of a sudden, the chugging of the wheels stops, and there's a sense of pure silence. You can no longer hear the steam. You can no longer hear the turning or the steel or anything. It's just silence, almost as if the train had been thrown off a cliff and is drifting. The only sounds are the sounds of your voices.
Are we there? Did we make it?
Just about. Everyone experiences time a little bit differently here. Could be long, could be short.
The adjacent door opens, the one that isn't guarded, and a guild soldier walks in with his red coat. He moves over directly to your table. And he says, Mrs. Melville.
Yeah.
Could you come with me, please? I have a few questions I would like to ask you.
Sure.
He steps aside, kind of offers for you to walk ahead of him towards the chamber he came from.
Look to my companions. If we get there anytime soon, make sure you come and get me so that I can get off the train with you all. Looking forward to seeing you soon. And I walk into the other room.
Very good. You leave with him, and we'll come back to you. In the meantime, you guys are still residing in this train, waiting for a bit. The guard standing at the door leaves. The lights continue to flicker by, and then you hear a sound, a surprisingly common sound coming from the car that the guards went into. You hear a scream. A few of the passengers look about nervously, and they mumble to each other. Like you can hear little tones of like, "Oh, what was that? What happened? What happened?" What do you do?
Is it the train that Ellie went into?
No, it's the opposite side. There were two guards that went into there. There was a guard that was like kind of standing there for a little bit, and then he left.
I'll look over to Tobias and just... Should we be taking a look?
You can. I don't recommend it, but you can if you want. Maybe you can. Maybe you should. Maybe you might offer your services.
You sound pretty unsure of yourself.
I know a lot of these officers like to keep their business private, but it might be a genuine emergency. It's up to you, Doc.
Maybe I'll just go knock and see if they need anything.
That's probably for the best.
I'm gonna stand up and then go knock at the door.
So you stand up. When you do, you feel a little lightheaded. Again, like you're kind of expecting that shift and move of the train, but it doesn't happen. And like when you walk and when you move, you feel high. Like your fingertips tingle, your knees tingle, your teeth feel really weird. Like it's hard not to lick the back of them. It's a really strange sensation where you're trying to figure out what's going on, but having a hard time doing it.
And the windows are still shuttered, correct?
All of the windows are still shuttered.
Okay.
Sorry, I just want to switch the music a little bit because things are going to get fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna like look towards the shutters for like whatever extended horizontal line there is and just try and center myself on it as I approach the door, and I'll knock.
You manage to do it. You get to the door. The door is thick. It's like almost like a steel vault door, but there's like a circular submarine window on it that like you can see. You sort of tonk, 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 knock a little bit. There's no response, but you can investigate by looking through the window. A scrutiny or a notice check.
I mean, based off of what Tobias was saying and how unsure he was, I don't think I'd look through the window. If they didn't answer the door, I'd leave it.
You tonk, tonk, tonk a few times. Just the thought of the scream in the back of your mind. There's no answer, and you just go back and sit next to Tobias.
It's probably for the best. It might have been one of those hallucinations too.
Doesn't seem like they want any assistance.
After the hot water I got in with Colonel Jeremiah, I feel like it might be best to stay out of guild business for a little while.
I'll take your word for it. You have more experience in the matter.
I'll take a give me a notice check, both of you.
Okay. Let me notice some things. Oof. Notice is going to be 8. What's the target number?
6.
6? Okay, I'm good.
Scrutiny or notice.
That'd be a 5.
You're a little worried. This is not something you're familiar with, Dr. Murphy, and you're kind of dealing with Tobias and like trying to figure out what to do. There is no immediate horror or anything there, but you're in this weird fugue state where you're listening to words that seem to bounce around in your head instead of just entering into your ears. It's unsettling. It's not scary, but it's really weird, and you're just riding it out. And hey, Tobias seems to know what's going on. Tobias, you being a reporter are always you're on the edge, right? You're always looking for the next story. And even though you two are under the influence of like this natural drugging that is happening just from like the strange phenomenon that is passing through the breach, you are listening to the conversations around you, and they are amplified. When they talk, they seem to echo like a whispering echo right next to your ear. And there are key words you pick up. It's like listening to a crowd, but you're occasionally able to pick out a word here and there. Words like prisoner cart, transferring a prisoner, unsure, hope they're okay. Things like that.
I'm gonna ask you, you hear all that, Doc? Things about prisoner cart and hoping they're okay?
Things seem to be pretty quiet in here. I haven't really noticed anything at all.
Let me go investigate the door. Let me go knock one more time.
One of the lights explode to a shower of sparks.
Change your mind, duck and cover.
It's nothing dangerous, just a light bulb.
Okay.
You still want to investigate?
Yeah, let me go do it. At the very least, look through the window, see how they're doing. Maybe they'll answer me instead. I'm a guilty.
No. You walk over to the window, and there's a single round porthole that offers a view into the room. Most of the light bulbs in this room have gone out, but there is a small halo towards the back, slowly swinging, the light just shining down. Give me a scrutiny or notice check.
Okay. For scrutiny, I got a 14 of Rams.
You're sort of like pressing your face close to it, wiping away some of the condensation that just seems to be naturally happening right now in this weird, strange traveling state. And you're looking in, and you can see that the light that shines this halo down on the ground, it's swaying slowly to and fro, to and fro, even though there are no vibrations of the train. But occasionally, just barely, as it's swinging back and forth across the path, you can make out a pair of black boots lingering on the edge. They belong to someone sitting or standing, and the left boot seems to be tapping.
Okay. I'm gonna knock, and then if nothing happens, I'm gonna open the door, or attempt to open the door.
You tonk, tonk, tonk. And you can see as you're watching it, the left boot stops. Do you want to open the door?
Yep, let's do it.
You grab the wheel, turn it open, and it opens up. You take a few steps into the room. Your eyes begin to adjust to the darkness, kind of seeing a little bit into the shadow, and you can see laying on the ground are two bodies. And at the back of the room is a shadowy figure. Seems to be sitting down now that your eyes are adjusting.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of make out the silhouette, and you can see that there are shackles on his wrist leading down onto the floor. The head lifts up. Care to do a fellow an act of charity? He says, holding up his wrists. The man is thick-built and bald, firm jaw.
Thick-built, bald, firm jaw. Okay. I'm gonna ask him, what? We heard a scream back here. What happened?
Well, you know, all sorts of unfortunate things happen when you go through the breach. Seems like some sort of unfortunate things happen to these gentlemen as well. Can't say I'm displeased with it.
How's he dressed? Is he dressed like a convict in the stripes, or is he dressed like a...
You would have to step closer and angle the only single light illuminating this room.
Let me do that.
You take a few steps closer. Your first step, he sort of against the chains and then relaxes. And eventually you walk up only a few feet away from him and angle the light. You can see that he does have the black and whites of a convict.
Okay. I want to look around with the thing to investigate the bodies, the light, move it around. Just see what I can see.
You sort of flip over the bodies, and they have very peculiar sort of markings running along the face. The expression of the face is one of just pain and horror. It is like elongated, the eyes are completely white, and like the jaw is firmly open.
Mm-hmm.
But unless you have a medicine check, you're not gonna really be able to understand what happened.
I really don't think I need a medicine check to kind of understand what happened here. But I'm gonna say to him, things happen on this train often. I've seen a few weird things myself. Nobody's got to know about this.
While this conversation is going on, Dr. Murphy, that door is just hanging open at this point. Do you want to go in and interact, or are you content? Is Dr. Murphy fine out here?
What can I see through the door?
You can like from where you're sitting, because you're like kind of off to the side, you just see like the wall shadowy, but like it's metal. There's like a long bench, and that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, as long as Tobias isn't calling me in, I'm sitting, hanging there.
All right, we're gonna switch back to you, Tobias, in which the inmate says, "Well, now, I mean, this is a glorious opportunity for me, and I feel it would be irresponsible for me to introduce myself. My name is Joshua Clyde. Yes, and I have been sentenced, well, to work myself to death in the mines. But if you were to just grab that key," and he sort of points, and you can see like there is a key ring that has slipped off from the belt of one of these guards and like landed in the center of the room, far beyond the reach of his chains. "If you were to grab that and release me, I would disappear. And of course, in some time, repay the favor."
So Tobias is going to step. Oh, it's just sitting on the floor, right?
It's sitting on the floor. So like he's at the far end of the train. The guards are like in the metal with like all that like weird scarring. And you're, closer to him, sort of shining the light. But he can't reach it with like how he's chained up.
Okay. I'm gonna step onto the key ring and just kind of like kick it over to him, make sure it lands within reach. Be like, everything seems to be in order here. Nobody's asking for help. Seems like a nice quiet cabin to me. Kick it over and make my way back to the thing, back to the door.
All right. You hear the like click, click of shackles being undone. And he does not respond to that, kind of being on the level a little bit.
Exactly. I want to kind of like get back to my car, close the door, make a show of saying, yeah, the guard said it was okay. They said they didn't need any help. Everything seemed to be in order back there.
Let me deception.
Okay. Let me...
Is that versus scrutiny?
Ooh, okay. Red Joker.
Man, you brush off your hands, play it off. When you enter the room, everyone, all the different patrons are just looking at you expectantly, right? They're like, not saying anything. What happened? The second you say that, they just sort of smile and begin to take snacks out of their suitcases, and you just go right back to business. And you take your seat across from Dr. Murphy. Meanwhile, a few cars away, Ellie Wylie, you sit in a metal chair in front of a middle desk, and a man sits across from you. A young man, maybe a little bit past his teens. He is flipping through a series of documents and says, "What exactly is your business in Malifaux, Miss Melville?"
My husband is a lawyer. I love him very much. He's going to Malifaux. I'm coming with. I hope to get work there.
Your paperwork seems legit to me, but you have to understand that there are all sorts of terrible people who wish to get into the city, and I pride myself on the ability to stop the victimization of our citizens. So I appreciate your cooperation very much. I mean, there's a few times where things have gotten a little messy, which I do not want to happen. But thank you for cooperating. I just have a few more questions and I'll send you right on your way.
Sounds good. My husband has a nervous composition, so it would be good if I can get back to him as soon as possible. Let's make these questions fast, please.
I'll try to be as quickly as possible. If anything too severe happens with him, I'm more than happy to send more than a few guards into that cabin. So
I would
we should
be
fine.
horribly displeased if something would happen to him.
I mean, I don't want anything to happen to any of the citizens on my train. So hopefully we can work together. Now, how long have you been married to your husband?
Well, it's been a while, but time flies, so I would say probably 2 years or so. Admittedly, I'm the bad one in the relationship. I don't remember the anniversaries. He's a sweetie.
Duly noted. Duly noted. And you wouldn't happen to be transporting any suspicious merchandise, would you?
Yeah, if you call papers and pens suspicious, absolutely we're transporting those.
I'm going to need a deception check because you do have that watch.
I don't have that watch, good sir.
But you are aware of that watch. You are aware.
None of what I've said in relation to Hubert and myself is a lie. So.
It's not technicalities. It's the fact that he's like going to search everybody, and you are aware that someone within your party does have something that could be suspicious.
Okay.
I'm
The
personally
target number
loving
is 6.
2 very different styles of intimidation, sitting across the table from each other and just intimidating each other.
So I got a 5 as I just stare at him.
You can cheat.
I got a 5 as I stare at him.
Okay.
And as I look at him, as he's asking me this question, I'll say, it's your job to keep things safe, right? I personally would be pretty upset if anybody tried to cause any problems here on the train.
You're right. I'll run your paperwork. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, just one more thing. My wife has been wanting to travel. That place where you met your husband, the Nemo Valley.
Mm-hmm.
What country was that in?
Egypt.
Of course. Thank you. And he gets up, walks away, and closes the door behind him.
Before he can, as he gets up to walk away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a scrutiny check?
Absolutely. It's going to be I'm just gonna say target number 7.
12 tomes. Did I convince him? Did I do it?
Well, scrutiny isn't convincing.
No, I'm trying to figure out, does he believe me? Or am I doomed as he gets up? The long pause as we look at each other.
There's a smile on his face that seems far too cocky.
Yeah.
And the door shuts behind you, or behind him.
All right, I'm gonna have to hurt some people now, I guess. This is how this is gonna go. I really wanted this train ride to go well. All right. I pull out my gun.
Mm-hmm.
I check that it is loaded. I put it in the holster. And I prepare my scheme to convince somebody to come into this room.
Okay. You prepare your scheme. All right. We will come back to that. So, meanwhile, back in the main passenger cart, a few moments go by. The patrons are happily just sort of eating, having like snacks and everything. Some waitresses come in and like serve you guys like a very simple meal with, you know, some food, like a sandwich and a bag of peanuts in true airplane fashion mode. And eventually the train begins to come to a stop. When it does, it rattles with so much veracity that you have to like kind of like hold your cup as it's shaking, and your teeth are chattering, and like everyone is like sort of like looking around and whatnot. During this traveling, you do see one of the guild soldiers makes their way back into the cart behind you and just like dashes out in a panic. They don't say anything, but for you, Tobias, you definitely know they found the bodies, and they're kind of freaking out about that. But the train does come to a stop.
Good.
Ellie has not come back.
I'm glad we stopped, but Mr. Melville, aren't you worried about your wife?
Mr. Melville, who has been just at this point, he is drenched in sweat. His blazer is sticking to him like a second skin. He looks around, looks very pale, reaches into his jacket, pulls out a small knife, and says, "You're right. I made a promise
Oh my god.
that I would be reliable. I'm gonna have to go get my wife."
Whoa. Let's not be too hasty now. We can ask some questions first. The knife will come later. How about that?
He looks back at you and just like drops the knife in shock because you placed your hand on his shoulder. Yes. Right, but yes.
What? Why don't I go with you? And then we can see what's happening with Mrs. Melville.
Into the heart of the beast.
Exactly. I want to walk with him up to the door where Ellie was and see. Is someone there, or do I knock, or just open it?
You open it, like there's like sort of the walkway that goes to the next cabin, and the cabin after that is like a storage cabin.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're starting to think like they probably led her a few like cabins down. Doc, what are you up to in this moment?
I'm sitting there trying to stay as inconspicuous as possible.
Calm and quiet. Ellie, no one comes in as you're waiting, but the train does stop. What would you like to do?
Are there any windows in this room?
You're looking around and you notice that there are no windows, but up above you there's a hatch.
Okay.
It's like an emergency escape hatch.
Cool. Did it sound like the door locked on the outside? Am I locked in this room?
You
Did it sound that
easily
way?
can try it, and yes, you are locked in this room.
Cool. Okay. I would like to just put my ear to the door. Can I hear anybody right outside the door?
Give me a notice check.
Yeah. I'm putting my ear to the door with a 4.
Nothing. It's just the soft hum of an ear towards cold metal.
All right, I'm gonna climb up through the hatch.
All right. You sort of move some furniture around, grab the lever, it chunks, and you slowly open it up. Give me a stealth check, which is cunning if you don't have it.
As I'm climbing up there, I get the black joker, and I just like slip and fall out of the hatch and just hit the ground.
Metal arm first.
Yeah.
The loudest thud possible.
So you just slip and fall, and from where you are, Tobias, you hear that clamor. And in like this storage area, you can see out the window. You're in sort of like a makeshift train station. You like can just barely lift up the metal sheets, and you can see that like there are guild guards just rushing towards the train at the sound of that clamor.
Okay.
Echoed like a gunshot. Just crates fell everywhere.
Did she fall on the outside or the inside of the train?
Inside.
She fell back inside.
Okay.
Slamming, just boom throughout the entire train.
All right. I want to grab his arm and move a little bit faster towards what's happening, towards the noise.
All right. You move faster towards the noise. You quickly make your way through this cart. Meanwhile, back where you are, Doc, some guards have sort of walked up into the train, and they are escorting people out. You can see that there are passengers that are taking down their luggage, moving out, moving into the actual station. Tobias, you sort of you open your door and you get towards their door, which is locked shut. And there is a combination lock on the front of it.
Okay, so I'm still in like a storage area, right?
You're on the in-between, right?
Okay.
So like it opened up and there's that little gap from train to train, and you're on that in-between that goes into Ellie's chamber. And like you can even see there's like a similar porthole, and you can see Ellie inside.
Let me okay, so I'm gonna casually try the handle. It's locked, right?
It's locked.
All right, let me see if I can. I'm gonna grab one of my notebooks real fast. Start pulling out. It's one of the spiral bound ones. I'm gonna start trying to pull the wire out and see if I can maybe fashion a lock pick out of it and start trying to pick the lock.
Do you have lock picking?
I do have lock picking.
I mean, if you got it, I'm gonna give you a straight check.
Straight check meaning I can cheat this one, or?
Yeah. I like the creativity. Like, yeah, you pull it out and like a few papers just like slide down. And you quickly grab them, and you're bending it with your teeth, and you begin to try to lock or try to dig it into like the keyhole at the side of the combination lock.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a lock pick and check. It's not a kit, so.
It's not a kit.
Officially, kit
That's
gives
true,
you
that's true, that's
advantage. You can do it straight other times. Because
I'll
I have a
say
kit.
that.
Target number 8.
Target, that's it? All right, well, here we go with a 14.
14 will do it.
I'm rolling well tonight, dude.
Yeah, hyper competent.
Yeah.
Target number 8 is supposed to be somewhat difficult in this system. It's on the border of challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But you manage to kind of
D&D.
slip it in there, and there's like you're raking the picks, and it just clicks and opens up, and like you can look around the corner because again you're in that in between, and you can see that there are like guards moving quickly into the train, because on top of her fall, like one of the guards has come out and be like, the prisoner, he's gone, we got an escaped convict, right? So it's just like it's ramping up what's happening. And that door like slips open, and you can see like there's a group of probably about 6 soldiers moving towards your train in that gap. But the door is open.
Okay. I want to tell Ellie, let's, oof.
I should have punched him. I should have Why did I even bother trying to lie? I should have just knocked him out. I should have just had him in the room with me. Ugh.
Punching is a bad idea right now. We don't need punching.
Hubert, you got your knife? You got your knife, Hubert? You ready to go?
Hubert's not there. Hubert stayed with Doc.
I thought he came with me.
Yeah, Tobias was dragging him by the hand.
You're right. Yeah. Hubert lost his knife. It fell through the grate when he dropped it.
You need to keep hold of your weapons, all right, Hubert? We'll talk about this later, all right? If anybody ever tries to take your weapon, you drive them away, all right?
Yes,
That's
dear.
just how this goes.
Yes,
Okay.
dear. Yes.
What are we doing?
I think. How do you feel about just leaving? Go. Well, okay, so there's soldiers coming up onto one side of the train. I assume that's the platform. The other side of the train, is there no? It's just tracks, right? Like maybe they can leave. Maybe they can sneak away. Maybe they can do a few things. I'm thinking coming back the way we came is a bad idea for you guys.
Where are we right now? Are we in Breachtown? Are we here? Did we make it?
Tobias, you know that you are at the station in Breachtown. Like, when you look around, it is this very tall, black iron building with a glass ceiling, like a dim blue light in here from all like the different candelabras and like lanterns shining on the corners.
Okay. So we're inside.
You're inside Breachtown.
Okay. Where we've made it past the breach. You're in Malifaux now, but we ain't in the city yet. How are you at sneaking around?
You just heard me, right? Sure, everybody heard me. Not that good at it.
Does this train go to Malifaux City, or this is just we got to go on a new train to get to the city, right?
So normally when you arrive in Breachtown, there are carriages that'll take you into the city. But this is the closest they deliver at the city. And so like both of you are kind of talking, looking around the corner. And at that point in time, like as you're looking around the corner, Dr. Murphy, you sort of come down the ramp. You got your luggage in tow. No one's really bothering you. You've been on the up and up. I need everyone to make a notice check.
Okay.
Including me?
Including you, because you are also walking out of the train.
I was going to say when I walked out, I do want to try and find like a different crowd of people and kind of walk close to them.
Okay.
But
what's the target number?
6.
Can I make a notice check from 20 miles away?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're almost to you, baby.
I want to use echolocation to sense their presence.
That might work. I'm gonna get a notice. It's going to be. Oh, that works. 6. You said 6.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Yep, that meets.
I got a 7.
All right. That more than meets. What about you, Murphy?
I got an. It's cunning, right?
Yes.
Then I got an 8.
As you guys are moving around, Murphy, you easily just sort of like step into a crowd, and you make your way into a line. There is a single exit in this entire station. There's the openings where the train comes through, but there are dozens of very heavily armed guards sitting over there. But the line has a table with a plump man with a tall top hat and a gray suit, and everyone is sort of checking out. But the notice that really hits you, and as well as Tobias and Ellie as you're looking around the corner, is that you notice a few passengers have been pulled off to the side by some crimson officers. But they're not all officers. There is a figure in particular that stands out in this new crowd. They're hunched. They wear tattered gray monk-like robes. And you notice that the head is completely hooded in a white burlap sack. And as Dr. Murphy, you look at this person, they seem completely disinterested in the conversation they were in, and pale teal blue eyes illuminated from behind that sack just immediately look directly in your direction.
I mean, if he looks towards me and I meet eyes with him, I will simply just kind of like nod my head and tip the tip of my hat and then look back into the front of the line.
Everyone sees this figure. If anyone has enchanting or necromancy, they can make a flip.
I have that. Okay. That would be an 11 for enchanting.
You tip your hat, and this hunched figure just takes a couple steps towards you. You have heard about these figures. It's fairly common knowledge that the guild has a deep fear and hatred of spell users, often considering them to be far too dangerous when unsanctioned. Yet there are those whose criminal use of magic do not result in a timely execution within the world of the guild. Rather, they are turned into husks, mindless parasites with a need to consume arcane energy lest their constant decaying forms wither into nothing. This is a witchling stalker. In the eyes of the guild, they are little more than dogs, meant to sniff out magic, soulstones, or those with arcane gifts. And it has taken a few steps towards you. Still, probably about 50 feet away, and its head just kind of cocks to the side as it watches you.
I'm gonna look around and see if I can see any of the rest of my party, but I'm gonna still try and keep up with the group that I was with in the line.
Yeah, give me a notice.
Seven.
Well, like, you're sort of peering and you can see over this creature's shoulder, kind of looking out beside the train. You make eye contact with Ellie and Tobias.
Okay.
You never told me about your contraband, right?
We did not.
No.
Or I
Okay.
did not.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna say to Ellie. Oh, do they check? They're not checking tickets as you leave the train, right?
No, everyone is sort of lining up into a line to get out of the gate after they left the train, but this area is just filled with soldiers. And like there are soldiers that are like peeling people away from the line, questioning them, and like one group of soldiers has this stalker, which seems to be just transfixed on Doc Murphy at the moment.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna ask Ellie, you got any bright ideas? Get yourself out of this situation?
No, I don't. I'm gonna maybe get off the other end of the train. I'm gonna try to hide. Otherwise, I don't know. Got any ideas?
Boy. Yeah.
Maybe stick with me.
Sticking with you.
Stick with me. maybe I can get you guys out of this situation if push comes to shove.
Yeah.
Stick with me. Keep your head quiet. Keep your mouth quiet. Let me do the talking. And I'm gonna hurry back to the exit of the train, to where they were, and hopefully I can talk my way out of any situation that comes away.
You.
I'm going to start talking to the people that I was following, and just, what brings you to the Malifaux? What brought you through the breach?
Oh, well, my husband and I, we try to live in the Americas, but the cost of living in New York City was just far too expensive. So we made our way out here, new opportunities and whatnot. And she begins to sort of just babble on, talking about like how excited she is to start over. Ellie and Tobias, you guys make your way out. There's a soldier that gives you a sideways glance because you're late bloomers, stepping into the line.
I'm gonna. I'm wearing a press badge, right? So I'm gonna say just finishing up a quick interview, with a interviewee. Give him a nod.
Okay. You talk to him about giving up. He doesn't question you. He's fine with that.
Okay.
He nods, and then Murphy, you keep feeling it burning into you, right? Like the vision of this creature. And then you look at it, and it looks like it's about to take another step, but another soldier puts his hand on the creature's shoulder and directs it towards the train. And it walks towards it, but its head just watches you as it moves into the train. After that, you don't see it anymore. Overhearing sort of what the guards are talking about, they're much more concerned with the escaped convict than anything else. And this creature is a slave to its masters and begins to investigate for them. Eventually, the line sort of just moves along, and you get up to the front, where you see a very large-looking man who has wait, I'm gonna put him. All right, he is seated behind the table, very plump, large, with cherub-like cheeks. He wears a top hat, coat, and vest, all gray, and a single blood-red tie is wrapped around his neck. As you stand, you just can't help but notice that he seems incredibly happy as he looks at you from behind these reflective spectacles. Hello, good day, welcome. My name is Investigator Dixon. What brings you to Malifaux today? And he clasps his white gloved hands together and rubs them with glee.
Pleasure to meet you this fine evening, or this fine day. I'm looking to set up a practice here in the city. Well, not in this city, but, Malifaux City.
Of course, it's the greatest city in all the world. And what would this practice be that you're interested in?
I'll lift up my briefcase or my bag and just say, I am a doctor. Do you have any ailments? Anything you need to look at?
Oh, a medical man in a world of ailments. Why, I say you might be a gardener in a field of flowers when it comes to Malifaux. Now, I have to ask, you wouldn't happen to be transporting any illegal goods?
Um. Well, I guess I'm unsure of that. I mean, I have a couple bottle of whiskey that I brought from the other side. Is that legal in Malifaux?
Oh, whiskey. Highly illegal, I must say. And he sort of reaches down on the table and pulls out a small shot glass and says, "But if you pour me a bit of it, I won't say anything."
Aye, that can be arranged. And I'll pull out the bottle that I have that's like half empty from what Ellie used and pour him a glass. Does he have a glass on the counter?
He took out a freaking shot glass and just
Oh,
put it on
yeah.
the counter.
I'll pour him a heavy shot. I'll pour it all the way as close to the top as I can. Cap it back and go in and put it back in my bag.
He knocks it back and just not really illegal, mind you, but you gotta keep a smile on your face when so many people are dragged off to unspeakable, horrific fates because they don't understand the law. Let's move on. Have you any experiences with magic or interest in things of the sort?
I'm not practicing. Well, I'm not practicing with magic, if that's what you mean, but I did go to school for it at one point.
Did you now? Well, if you haven't any job prospects lined up, know that the guild is always looking for talented individuals. Now, move along. Everything seems to be in order here. May order prevail, and welcome to Malifaux.
Yeah. I'll nod, tip my hat to him, and just walk out.
All right, Ellie, Tobias, you guys wait in line, and eventually you get up to the front. Almost identical conversation. Hello, good day, and welcome. My name is Investigator Dixon. What brings you to Malifaux today?
Investigator Dixon, I'm just I'm on duty for the Malifaux Tatler, collecting stories on immigrants, and our two fine individuals right here have been giving me a lot of help. So if you could give them like an easy time, I'd
I'm a
appreciate
traveler.
it.
I'm a traveler.
And I am married, and this is my wife, who I
That's
love
right.
very much and have been married to for a very long time.
That's right, and that's all they want to hear about it. We don't have to tell our life to everybody. Isn't that right?
Yes, I don't need to, but if you want to know, I can tell you
No,
exactly
we're good.
where
Thank you.
Okay, yes. I love her. Can I get a... this is kind of going to be a dealer's choice for you, Tobias. I can accept bewitch or convince.
Bewitch or convince? Okay, let me do some convincing. Oh, I get a +3 to that. Awesome. Okay. Let me draw a card. Let me work on drawing a card. Okay. I do have my voice of the people talents, which is at a
+2.
I passed the deceive check before, so it's a +3.
My bad. +3, brother. The target number is 7, by the way. I'm sorry.
Target
I
number
gotta
of
get better
7.
at telling you what the target number is.
How many guards are standing around us at this time?
There are so many guards out here. There are like probably about 50 or so armed people walking around. Even behind Investigator Dixon, there's like 6 of them. They just have like their masks pulled up, and they have like Mad Max style goggles.
Okay, so it was convince. That's going to be... you think I get better at math. 2, 5, 6. This is going to be 6. The target number was 7, right?
Yes.
All right, I think I'm going to have to cheat that with my own 8. So 8 plus 5 is going to be 13.
You can't see the eyes, but like the glasses are just like reflecting in the lanterns that are all hanging up over here, like the glass old style Victorian ones. And he says, "Why, of course. I mean, there's so many criminals to catch and everything. I wouldn't want to take up your time. I'm a big fan of the Tattler, after all. You move along, you and your friend. May order prevail. Welcome to Malifaux."
Very kind of you, Sorth. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. You're doing a wonderful job here. And well, move everyone on.
Thank you. You guys move through the gate. Eventually, you make your way to the outside sky, which is a mixture of overcast and smog. Behind you, you can see that Breach Town is actually just a field of air hangars. There are crimson troops of guild soldiers practicing marching drills. You can hear the volleys of gunfire in the distance, just sort of crackling in the air. And soldiers sort of along the pathway usher new patrons along to what is almost like a taxi cab line of horse-drawn carriages. You watch as one by one other people are ushered in, and eventually you make your way in. As you do, sort of like the driver knocks on the back of the carriage, looks down towards the window, he says, "All right then, off to Malifaux it is."
Yes, sir. Thank you kindly.
Excellent. All right, hang along, should be about 30 minutes or so. And you hear the crack of the whip, and the carriage kicks up dust as it moves towards the distance to the city of Malifaux. And I believe at that point in time, because it's almost about 7, we are going to take our break real quick. When we come back, we will most definitely get into Deanna's very, very patient self into the
I
game.
haven't been patient.
I'm sorry. I know it's taking a
I'm
long
giving you a hard
time.
time.
I just want to set the scene.
Yeah.
We with your backstory,
I will
you
be
are
forced
a
to interject
native.
more and more often.
You will not have to interject anymore because you'll be in the story.
No, you're totally fine. No worries.
But before we go on break, just a reminder, we are going to do that giveaway. Make sure you type in the !loot command to get that super cool, awesome long sleeve shirt. We should be back in a few minutes. Thanks for being here, guys. I feel you through the screen. It's beautiful. I know the first session is always it's a little slow. It's the characters getting to know each other, but we got some good stuff coming up. So we'll be back soon. Remember, you do have to be a follower to win that giveaway, and I believe we will announce it after break. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back. So we have our winner, which is Fox Fires. We'll get that information out to you and send that shirt to you. In the meantime, important update that I was made aware of. Apparently, our beautiful sponsors are having a 25% off Black Friday sale. So if you weren't convinced before with Nine Realms Gaming and their amazing dice trays and dice holders, go check them out. With that said, though, let's get back into it. So, our party of comrades, not friends, acquaintances, you, after a rather stressful journey in with the train, find yourself inside sort of like a deep redwood carriage that's shuffling along, right? Like there's a lot of twisting and turning. Not the best way of travel carriage-wise, but you're moving along. As you do, and you're sort of sitting across from each other, you can see that there are a series of leather, I want to say almost like big envelopes, like full paper envelopes that are hanging and like sort of stapled along the walls. And you can see flyers sticking out of these 3 envelopes.
Let me take a better look at them.
You grab one of the flyers. The one you grab, Tobias, shows a picture of a fearsome-looking woman in a long-brimmed, almost sombrero-style hat. Her jaw is clenched, her arms folded, and written in bold letters above her are the words, "Be an Ortega, join the Neverborn Hunters." This flyer also has an address where you can sign up. And the address appears to be someplace called the Cage of Grace. And if you have history, or in your case, because you are a news person, I will allow you to roll literacy. You could learn more about that.
Okay. What history is intellect, right?
History is intellect, and
Okay.
as is literacy.
All right. Let me go ahead and do literacy.
Since I'm in the same carriage, may I roll as well?
I'm going to have everyone roll based on the flyer they draw.
I got a 2.
You got 2? I'll say you can look over his shoulder, and you are the one sitting next to Tobias. So yeah, I'll let you flip. That seems unfair. I'll let you flip.
Peering at this person, I just sort of reach out. Hey, can I see that for a second?
Pass it on over.
Thank you. Yeah. Are we in Malifaux now? Are we here? Did we make it?
We're on the way.
Okay.
Almost there. Just short carriage right there.
Let me know. I got a 10 on history.
In your, I won't say line of work, but the line of work you are pursuing, Ellie, you've heard the name Ortega before. You recognize this woman as Perdita Ortega. Malifaux has always been plagued by horrible monsters known as the Neverborn. And Perdita has been sort of a Wild West legend. There's all sorts of stories about her killing 3 Neverborn with 1 bullet, or being able to shoot the feathers off a chicken with her eyes closed. She is a symbol for just like the efficiency of the guild. They have raised her up to be like this type of hero. So you kind of like this is a sharpshooter. This is someone who does a lot in the world of hunting down monsters.
You see this? You see this person? This is somebody she's cool. All right, she's it's not important. And I fold it up and I tuck it in my shirt.
I want to
Very
write down.
nice.
I want to take notes.
No, you don't get to take off the record.
Put my things down.
All right, who would like to pull the second flyer?
I'll do it.
The second flyer reveals what looks like to be a beautiful white mansion, advertising a place called the House LeBlanc. And it's like this big white, almost looks like the Disneyland haunted mansion, just like multi-storied Southerner style establishment. And the slogan says, "Make your first night in Malifaux one of comfort." And as you are reading that, because I want to give everyone one flyer, Ellie, the flyer you pull out has a wholesome black and white picture of a smiling family sitting at a long table. The mother is advertising a sort of like a small can, almost like a can of beans. And the slogan at the bottom says, "Quality cooks meat. It's for everyone."
I wanna snatch that flyer out of her hands real fast and just like tear it up, and you don't want any of that, and just toss it outside.
What? What? That looked good.
Trust me, it's less appetizing than you think it is.
Really?
You don't want to know how the sausage is made if you catch my drift.
Yeah, I think I catch your drift. Yeah, that's a good one. You should put that down in the book. Here's what you here. Actually, can I dictate something to you?
A statement,
Ellie.
sure.
Yeah, Ellie, confidently emerging from the train station, picks up a flyer of the soon-to-be second in command of the Hunters after Ellie takes first command, Perdita Ortega. You can put that in the journal. If you put that in there, that's good.
To get a quote, I have to use your name.
The Lone Hunter. No, Miss Melville. Miss Melville.
Miss Melville.
Melville.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Ms. Melville.
Hubert just sits quietly, twiddling his thumbs. He seems happy as a kitten in a yarn factory. He is just smiling, bouncing back and forth to himself. Occasionally he makes a comment about like, "Oh, we got him," right? Just so happy that he got through what is an impossible adventure for him, but he made it through all right. You guys ride along the desert trail, and eventually you hear the clapping of hooves on cobblestone. Then the scenery changes. The flat desert shifts into a large courtyard. You catch a glimpse of a few crimson-coated soldiers walking back towards the gate. They have like high-powered rifles slung over their shoulder, and they close it behind you. The coachman stops the carriage, opens the door, gives you a crooked grin, and says, "Here we are, folks."
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have to tip you?
No, it's all paid for. It is courtesy of the guild.
Excellent. Great.
I appreciate you.
As we're traveling, what's different in Malifaux versus the our world? Like, is the sky different? Are there more suns, more moons? Like, what's the environment like? Any changes?
That's a wonderful question. Since you've been here, the sky is a very, very pale gray. And even though, like, you can see occasionally, if you were to look outside of the carriage, like, you would see the city in the distance, which is like this walled-off fortress of a city. It's completely sunny. There are no clouds in the sky, but everything is very gray. Very subtle gray. And all around you, everything seems to be lacking in color. It takes a moment for your mind to process, because you would expect like, oh, flesh color, but even your skin, it's like a gray flesh. Everything kind of has like that film that's been laid over a camera.
Is there anything like noticeable in the air, like a scent, or is it heavier, or?
That's the only thing you kind of really notice that seems different.
Okay.
Let me ask a reporter question, so we can start jotting it down. Gentlemen, and I assume Mr. Melville's going to get in on this too. What's your first impressions of the city? How does are you happy to be here? What's the anything that first strikes your fancy? What's on your mind, guys?
It's a tad bit dreary. It looks kind of like I'm looking through a painting or something of the such. There's not a whole lot of color here. Is it caused by something?
Like looking at a painting.
Not in a good way.
So it's like one of those sad paintings that fills you with emotion, right?
Love that.
I take a deep breath. I take a deep inhalation. It's opportunity. This is the place to be. I made it here. No thanks to you, by the way. Thank you so much.
Happy to lend my assistance. Mr. Melville, anything on your mind?
I'm so happy to just be away from my apartment. I mean, I think I told and he like kind of blushes a little bit and goes, wife, about it. But I'm happy to be away from my old apartment because I used to hear my neighbors or people around my apartment, they would just go through my trash and laugh at me.
What'd be in your trash that they'd be laughing at?
I mean, I'm not sure. Like I had a few wrappers from where after my wife left me, I would sit in my bathtub and eat just like a full wedge of cheese. And maybe it was that. A lot of canned meats too. Also in the bathroom. I feel like it's important to save time, because canned meats, it's rough, right, on the indigestion. So you just go into the bathroom and, cut out the middleman.
So you are excited for the new culinary opportunities.
That's an amazing way of saying that. Yeah, for sure.
All right, taking notes. I'm going to offer him the same deal I gave these guys. Collecting news on immigrants. I'm going to ask him a few more questions. He'll probably be more forthcoming than our two friends over here.
Oh yeah, he's all about it. Like when you're asking him and like trying to like give him like the idea of like what the contract will be, he's just like, "Are there pigeons here? Because I don't get along with pigeons."
No pigeons, but there's a few rats. Rats might be a problem, but they're nothing to be afraid of.
Pigeons can't usually fly over you and make their mess on you. Yeah, no, I'd be more than happy to give an interview. I spent the last few months in New York just standing outside of a bakery and smelling the bread, but I didn't go in because I wanted to lose weight. God, did that bread smell good?
I'm sure you'll find we have an array of bakery delicacies here in the city. There's something new on every corner downtown.
Could you point? No, don't point me to one. I don't want to know. I'm Hubert Melville. I will not sweat profusely while I stand outside a bakery and sniff the bread and dream about it any more.
New opportunities. I like that. I'm writing that down for you, Mr. Melville.
Yes, new opportunities.
And with that, taking his notes and finish up our interview and everything that we've been our back and forth that we've just had.
Since you're the native to Malifaux, do you have any suggestions? Any experiences that must be had by the newcomers coming in?
The first thing that everyone should see, I feel, is probably the Star Theater. It's the best show in Malifaux. The Star Theater, we got, what else do we got? What's the next best thing we have to see? Because the Star Theater is
While you're thinking about it,
thing. Yeah.
Here's what I think. Best way to get used to a town, walk the streets. We can walk over to Star Theater. We can walk around the roads for a while, look at the populace, see who's there. It's a good time. You coming with?
Mr. Melville seems to want a culinary adventure. Do you have any tips for a diner or something? Restaurant?
That's a good question. Downtown, we'll find all your gourmet needs. It'll fulfill everything for you. A new restaurant on every street. Yes.
They have canned beans. The canned beans are apparently they're okay, I guess. But right, Tobias?
I'm sure we can find something a little bit better for your first meal in the city. Canned beans is more later down the line. You're celebrating tonight, boys. We're gonna get you your 10 script, and we're gonna get you a decent meal.
Yeah. Where is our money, by the way? Here, walk and talk. Let's start heading out here. I don't really want to stay anywhere nearby the Redcoats currently.
I catch your drift. I assumed that the money would be at the Tatler headquarters. I'm not carrying that kind of small portion with me to just give out to random people. I assume they'd have to come collect it. How does that sound? Or do you have something else in mind?
Brent?
Brent?
Oh,
That was a question for you.
Yeah, that
I'm
was
so sorry. I thought you were asking Jake. I was like,
no, that was a question for Mr. DM, sir.
Where's the
Where do you want
money,
that
Frank?
Stoic. You were so stoic. It was so good.
Money?
I was
You
invested.
have
I
to
was like,
figure it
yes,
out.
yes. There should be a envelope for you at the Tatler.
Okay. That would probably be our first stop, so we can get these boys some cash.
Yep.
And Ellie. These individuals some cash.
This entire conversation happens as you guys have sort of exited out of the coach and you're talking amongst each other. And then you hear a snap that sounds like the crack of a whip. And you look over and you take in the city. You take in the deep black buildings, and you are in a courtyard, a massive courtyard. But in the center of this courtyard, sectioned off, surrounded by a tall, wrought iron fence, is a large tree, the source of this sound. Its heavy limbs twist and curl like an abused willow, sagging downwards, barren of any leaves. Instead, the ashen gray plants hold a different type of foliage. Bodies. Titan ropes hang like thick vines, and from them, the ends of a noose, each around a softly swaying corpse. Dozens of them, slowly spinning, twisting. Yet the soldiers pay the tree no mind. But for each of you, those of you new to the city, a city that has been advertised as hope, which has been encouraged and re-advertised by Tobias Cook, it is startling to see a large tree with dozens of hanging bodies. And I will take a target number 7 notice check from Doc Murphy and Ellie.
Brent?
I was hoping I could spare you guys the side of the hanging tree, but everyone takes a notice of that their first time here, apparently.
I'd be at 14.
That'll be a 5.
Dr. Murphy, every single one of these ropes holds a victim, except for one. Near the center of the tree, facing outwards towards the gate you came through, is a single noose. It doesn't twist, it doesn't sway like the bodies around it. It remains motionless, almost like it is waiting for something.
What is up with the empty noose? Is that a normal thing?
It's normal, unfortunately. There's always someone ready to be executed by the guild's warm embrace every day, it seems like.
Nobody has a problem with that?
If you do, keep it to yourself.
They don't really have any signs about what be the warning that they have.
That's just keep your nose clean, keep yourself out of trouble. You'll be just fine.
One more question for you.
Yes, sir.
Anybody trying to burn down the tree?
Not to my knowledge. You got any ideas?
I'll keep them to myself. We should go.
Let's head on. Let's head on to the Tatler office.
Since we heard like a snap, was that a new noose being formed? Like somebody? Like,
There is a
fresher
single noose that seems to have snapped from the tree. Like when you look around and you're thinking like, oh, I heard a snap here, you find it. But like when it snapped, the body came from one of like the overhanging areas, and it fell and impaled itself on the fence.
Just another bright, shiny day in Malifaux.
There hasn't been a lot to hope about.
There could be. There could be plenty of hope, but if as of right now, not in this area. Let's keep moving. The more hopeful things are yet to come.
The camera shifts as our party is talking, looking at this very unwelcoming hanging tree in a city that was said to be very welcoming. Somewhere in an alleyway is a white-haired girl. Nemo, your last few weeks have been rough. What started as an unnerving suspicion has increased into a tangible fear. You are being followed, and the appearances are becoming more frequent. As you stand in the shadows of an alleyway, peering from behind a trash can out into the town square, why don't you tell us about yourself?
I look like, or what I'm like personally. That was a question. Do you just want me to describe what I look like?
For the moment, yes.
Okay. Alright. Nemo is a young girl or a young woman. She seems to be in her early to mid teens. She's got sallow, light skin and very large, dark, alert eyes. There are two sort of arresting features about her. There's the very pale, platinum blonde, almost white hair, like you said, and the dark coat that she wears. There's clearly an adult man's red coat that is comically oversized on her. Anyone who's familiar with the guild, people who live here, might recognize it as looks like an old guild marshal's coat, several years out of date, with any kind of insignia or marking picked cleanly off of it. And at this moment, if she believes that she's being followed, she'll be actually probably looking for people, large groups of people, anywhere that seems more busy. She's probably going more towards market, any area that has a lot of commotion happening.
You are 100% on point with what's going on. You're not familiar too much with the town square, but you know that tree weirds you out. You don't like it.
People don't like to hang around
especially
there.
because anytime you've been here, that empty noose is always facing you. It's like a picture with the eyes that always follow you. And you know the alleyways. You've come back a few different areas, but that noose is always facing you, never turning, never swaying with the wind. You come here because this is where new people get dropped off. And you've been looking for someone who could possibly help you with your dilemma. Most of the strangers that come in have been people who are either obviously too rich or obviously too poor. But this new group, they seem different. You catch a glimpse of the metallic hand on the fellow with the medical bag. And the red-haired one, the way she stands, the way she looks about, she could be promising. Maybe even armed. What do you do?
Are they in a carriage now, or are they just walking?
So they are standing outside of the carriage and beginning to sort of walk past the hanging tree into the city.
Are there any other groups coming out of carriages right now, or are they the only carriage?
They're the only one.
Okay. And there's no one else in the square?
There are guards all over the place.
Okay. I know this area fairly well. Is there a way that I could move in the direction they are without directly following them?
You know the town well enough that, like, you know some back alleys where you can cut them off where they might be alone away from guards.
I'm not trying to cut them off. I'm trying to go where they are going. I will say I have no intention of talking to them. I just want to go the way that they are going.
You can follow them stealthily if you wish.
Okay. All right. Is the man there? The man in the top hat? Can I see him, or he's not around? Okay.
He's not around.
Okay.
I will need you to make a stealth check, and I will need everyone else to make a notice check.
as we're just walking along, I'm just quietly talking to both Tobias and Doc, sort of just saying, all right, are we going to let's go to a restaurant first, get a little bit of food, then we can kind of see the area. We need to get that money though, so is the Tattler nearby a good place?
The Tattler, we can get a decent restaurant in the warehouse district. So somewhere for the workers to eat something good, reasonable. Notice for me is going to be 14.
17 stealth.
Does anyone beat a 17?
No, not even close.
You cling to the shadows, just blending in with the crates that have been thrown out side of the buildings, the different trash cans, and you watch these people as they make their way deeper into the city. I do need to know, where are you guys deciding to go? Are you going to go to the inn, the Star Theater, the Tattler
Sounds like
to get paid?
Looking for a restaurant.
Well, I thought the plan was the Tattler and then to a restaurant.
We do the Tattler.
The Tattler first to get the money, and then the best restaurant nearest it after.
All right. Okay. You make your way through the downtown district. Especially Tobias, like, this is the heart of Malifaux. This is where people of influence move along. People of reputation influence the city, I suppose you could say. As you make your way along, you can see that there are gaslit lamps that hiss softly atop black iron poles. Occasionally you see freshly waxed motor cars. A very, very exotic thing in this day and age. Like, only the elite of elite own motor cars. They're like private jets, right? But still, they're like coming down the street. There are these finely dressed inhabitants that have top hats, but sometimes not top hats. They have like the pharaoh headdress, because Egypt is all the rage right now. And they're walking along with their canes and their umbrellas. A few men tip their hats. But as you move into like this nice, eloquent side of the city, eventually you make your way to the Tattler. Just let me bring up my map. Bada bing, bada boom. The Tattler is a tall, thick building, primarily made of red brick. A pleasant little sitting area with a few benches, stout front. And written in 4-foot-tall, shining brass letters along the rooftop are the words, "The Tattler, the destination of truth."
Okay. I'll do they need to wait? They don't need to wait outside. They can come in and get the money.
Yeah. You work here, man. You can come in.
Yeah. I'm asking about them. They can totally come in.
Yeah,
why not? We got probably a waiting room or something. So I'll walk in and head towards the offices. You guys come in. Won't be here for too much longer. Get you guys a nice paycheck.
The second you open the door, you are bombarded with the deafening sound of whirling gears as you see like thousands and thousands of bits of paper just be pulling along by the sheets along these conveyor belts as the printing presses are like working at a mad speed. It is deafening how loud it is in here, and it's very difficult. Like, you have to shout to communicate with everyone, and as you're like kind of telling them, come on in, just shouting over the chaos, a young man with rolled up sleeves and suspenders spots you, waves you down, and gestures for you to follow him into like a room made of plywood and glass.
I follow him down there.
You come in with all your compatriots. Deanna, I assume you are lingering outside, or do you want to try to sneak into here?
Not gonna try to do that. I would like to look for the man. in the hat. I'd just stay where I am and see if he's, if I can
Roll
catch sight of
a
him.
notice check.
Okay. Might take me a moment. Okay, I got a 9.
You look behind you, look to the right, and look to the left. Being in downtown is very active. There are always people moving along very quickly. But the man in the hat is very tall. And he is close. Closer than he's ever been before. You can see him standing a few feet above the crowd. And for the first time, you can see a big, wide grin painted across his face. As usual, your stealth is on point. No one seems to notice you. And you can't see the eyes because of the brim and the shadow of the hat, but you can see the grin facing in your direction, focused on you.
How close is he to the tattler?
Still about 60 or so feet away. This is the first time he's been close enough that you can actually see the grin.
Okay. And I know that he knows exactly where I am, right?
Do you?
I'm going to move a little bit forward into a crowd of people, move a little bit over, duck back out. He's still grinning at me, right?
The grin shifts slightly and seems to follow you.
Okay. I'm going to walk, and I'm going to try to stealth into the tattler.
Alright, give me a stealth check.
Okay. Are there people in the tattler? Are there
Give me
groups of people? Because I have advantage if there are other people in there.
There are definitely other people in the tattler.
Okay, cool.
How loud is it in the Tattler?
It is deafening loud.
15. 15 stealth.
Easily. Like, any worry of being heard? Not at all. Like, everyone is moving quickly here as just hundreds and hundreds of papers are being pumped out from these machines. Just stomp, shift, stomp, ship, stomp, ship. It's a very fast moving environment, and you are easily able to shift in between the machinery. Meanwhile, you do catch a group, or catch a glimpse of the group you've been following that slips into an office, and you can see sort of the plywood and like the glass as it shuts. You can't hear what they're saying because it's too deafening out here. But inside, the young man sort of looks at you and says, "Sorry about the noise. It's loud business. Bringing folks to the truth, that is. What can I do for you fine people?"
Who is this guy? Do I know his name?
Yeah, you know him. He's named Eddie Jones. He's
Eddie
like
Jones.
sort of the head of the printing district. Like, his job is to make sure the prints are hot, everything gets shipped out, like everything goes to where it needs to go. Like, he's the head of printing and distribution.
Okay. Eddie, I'm collecting the money on the immigrant piece. Where they stashed that this time?
Yeah. You know, Nellie. You know, she set something down for you. She did. 10 script. How many folks you got? I think she sent it about 30 total.
Yeah, we got 3 people here for 10 script. 10 script each.
3 people, 30 it is. All right, we got it right here. She did say she wants to keep it snappy. You know, we got more things going on. Hopefully, you could get some people, you know, going into an actual dangerous environment. Because everyone knows, you know, when you work in Malifaux, whatever you work in, there's the risk of death. There's a risk of maimment. There's a risk of, you know, your soul being possessed and something terrible happen. So if you could take these, you know, buck wild cats you brought in here on an actual thing, another 30 scripts in it for you. You know, hey, you know, you're the suckers that we brought in here. How do you feel about that? You want another 30 script? You want to go on something dangerous, huh?
Sure. What are we doing?
I like him. Short, quick to the point. You know, we got to keep it snappy. The press is hot. I got this story to get out before the ink dries. Crazy things are going along in Malifaux. You got to read the first edition. I don't care where you're going. You just go down to someplace dangerous, possibly, you know, the Cage of Grace. That's where they have things where they send people on jobs where they usually die. You do that. If you survive, 30 more script is for you.
You know anywhere where they might have like boxing rings? Good place to just sort of exercise a little bit against somebody else?
I'm afraid underground fighting, not my thing, you know, no news in it. But I could give a lookout, you know, but it's gonna cost you. This money breathes and moves on money. Like, that's how the city works. I'm gonna need a little bit from you, if you know what I'm saying. You give me 5, I potentially can win you 20.
Here's what I can tell you. Insider trading, now that I'm in Malifaux, underground boxing will be a thing. You might want to get some news on it. It's gonna be a good time.
He scratches his beardless baby face. I'll keep a lookout for you, kid. I like your moxie. Seems good.
I'm a little confused by the situation. Is the Tatler not a newspaper?
Tadler is a newspaper. The only honest newspaper in all this city.
I mean, is it an honest thing to manufacture the news?
Manufacturing, I don't know what you're talking about. All I know is I gotta get paid, my employees gotta get paid, everyone needs to make a living.
You're paying us to create the news, are you not?
I'm paying you to get into a scientific explanationary situation of explanationariness to make sure I have a good story. Now, if you survive, that's good news. If you die, that's better news, is how it is, right? I line you up like a T-ball and it gets knocked down, and whatever direction it goes, I make money. And you make money too. Unless you're dead, then we'll send it to your loved one. It is what it is. Don't blame me. That's the way of Malifaux. Now, are we done here? Is there anything else you need to ask Tobias? Are your friends down? Do you want to make money or not? Very busy. A lot of stuff going on here. I got a first edition. You should check it out. I will say it's going to change the world. Check it out the second it releases. If not, go into the press. It'll cost you 0.5 script, a nickel or so, and then you can move along.
If we're gonna do something like this, I'd rather be paid up front.
No,
That way I don't have to
get
come
paid.
back.
I don't get paid unless the story's going on. And, Tobias here, if you're unwilling suckers, we'll send him right back out. He'll find some new ones.
I'm not into it then.
All right,
Well,
Tobias, 20 script it is. We get rid of this shit for bags. Your other folks, they ready? You ready? And your other one?
They can be down if you just got to spin it the right way. I can spin it the right way. 30 script. They did the immigrant story. That's what was promised. We'll get them some more if they do something newsworthy, and I'll make sure something newsworthy happens. How about that?
He hands you the envelope. It says, there's 30 itself. I trust you. I like you. You've always been a good kid. I've never seen anyone sling papers like you do, but I don't have time for bullshit. You move along, you get them under it, or you get them out of it. Throw them in front of the train for all I care. All right. It's been nice to see you. Move along. I got things to do. You're blocking the walkway. Let's go.
All right, we got our money, boys. Let's head out of here.
All
From
right.
outside, did Grinning Man follow me in? Or is he outside the store?
You do not see him in here.
Can I see him outside still?
There are no windows along the front. Like, a few of them are very high up, so you can't actually see out from them.
Okay. Cool. That's all I need to know.
So I assume we're heading to a restaurant. Maybe talk about our next move.
Yeah.
How does it sound, guys? And
Yeah,
Mr. Melville, if he's still hanging around us.
He's just following you like a shy puppy.
Okay. How about... Okay. How about we... Miss Wylie, in this underground boxing ring we're going to find you, how about we train this guy?
I have some ideas. Sure. Let's get some food first. Let's get paid, right, Doc?
I'm gonna hand out the money. 10 scrip each.
Very good. Let's go find a good cafe or something.
Okay. Mr. DM, sir, did I maybe get a paycheck or something for doing this? Because I have like 50 cents left on me.
Yeah, you get 10 as well, we'll say.
I get 10 as well. Okay. I
Yeah.
like the sound of that. Write that down. To the best restaurant around this general vicinity.
There are several very, very fine restaurants. Do you want to go affordable, or do you want to go just like exotic dining?
What you guys feeling? You want the toast of the town? You want the regular stuff? You want weed every day? We got options here.
Yeah, I want affordable, please.
Smart. Don't spend all your money at once. Let's go to the affordable place.
So, even though it's been over advertising, usually LeBlanc is kind of the. You come to Malifaux, that's where a lot of the travelers stay who don't have a lot of money. That's like where they get their roots. It's a hotel.
The Comfort Inn.
Comfort Inn, yeah.
Mhm.
Lonk it is. That's the haunted mansion house, right?
Yeah, that's what it looks like, pretty much. Yep.
All right. So I'll take him over there unless they have any more questions, unless we have any followers or anything.
I'm going to continue going in the same direction you guys are going. My goal is to always be walking with them in between me and the grinning man.
Okay.
Does that function? Okay.
No, that functions. I'm trying to find my House LeBlanc real quick. Oh, there it is. Cool.
They're outdoor dining at House LeBlanc, or are they going to have to go inside somewhere?
You follow them,
Okay.
and they will go inside, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Standing out due to its stark white coat of paint, this 3-story white building is rimmed with pillars. And as you approach, you can see a few shirtless men in suspenders, sort of waving suggestively as they tip their hat. There are some lovely women in corsets who fan themselves next to the door. And this long entrance has a canopy that leads to a pair of open doors. You can hear the sounds of piano and violin that drifts through the streets. And written on the cloth canopy in blue letters are the words, "The House of LeBlanc."
All right. I'll take these guys. I'll walk up to the maitre d', be like, "Sir, table for 4, please."
Oh, yes. Of course. Right over here. And like as you're moving along, it's a very, very happening place, right? People are moving around, bumping into each other, just having an amazing time.
Okay.
Pretty good place. Let's have a seat. Let's get some food. What do they have? Menu, please. Menu. We get a menu.
They bring over a menu. You can see, like, there are beautiful stained glass windows. This is an interesting environment that is a mixture of beaten up meets refined. The stained glass is cracked in a lot of areas. It's varying with bright colors of blues, purples, and greens. There's like the wax wood panel flooring, but the bar looks beat up. You can see like a couple of the mirrors hanging behind it have been shattered. There's just like the deep wood behind it where the mirror used to be, but everyone is moving along, laughing, flirting. There are also a few very strange devices, which if you have an engineering check, I will let you roll.
I do not have that.
Yeah, I definitely want to look around and like not only at that stuff, but also like architecture to try and like determine what the general sense of it. Like, is it old? Is it new? And that is a 9.
And that was just determining if it's old or new, or was that for the engineering?
I mean, this is for the engineering, but engineering is also the skill for architecture and stuff too. So
He's doing a vibe check in general.
You notice a few things. This building seems very beautiful, very old. And like as you're looking around at the architecture, you notice that there are a series of oil paintings next to the bar. And they each show like a different individual that talks about what doesn't talk about, but like the last name is always LeBlanc. This looks like a place that is meant to be historical, where it has passed through different generations. The engineering check comes through where you notice a handful of strange machines close to the bar. Metallic, boxy. You know these machines as Liberty Bells, and essentially it's a slot machine. At the time, there is no term for slot machines, but you're like, oh, you know, it's a chance machine where you put a coin in and you have a chance to win more based on like what symbols come up in it. Like you understand the basics of a slot machine without there actually being a name for a slot machine at the moment. Right. But there are Liberty Bell machines here.
Yeah. I'm not talking to the group about that at all. I don't want anyone to gamble their money away, so.
So I want to take just a look at the menu. I put my feet up on the table. I'm settling into the right vibes here, which is this place is a little bit diamond in the rough, right? So I can kind of do what I want to do here. So I put the feet up. I'm just reading the menu, trying to get a sense of what the good food is that I'm going to be ordering.
A lot of different pastas with this menu, apparently. It's definitely leaning towards more the Italian area, where you have like spaghetti with meatballs, you have a fettuccine alfredo, you have like a rich lasagna. And in 1902, with immigration being all over the place and where you're from, you don't know what any of this shit is. You don't know what spaghetti is. You're like, oh yeah, that's noodles. But you like lasagna and whatnot. You're not from New York, you know. It's a little exotic for you.
Exotic lasagna.
I'm just kind of perusing, and I eventually just close the menu and look over to you, Doc, and say, so I know what I want. Why don't you want to work with us? We can make some money. What's up?
Did I ever say that I didn't want to work with you?
Oh, good. That's what I heard back. Well, it was hard to hear, but that's what I heard in the tablet.
I said I didn't want to do something dangerous for money.
Sure.
You can work with us. We do have a... Let me level with you guys. We got a story waiting to happen here. We have this underground boxing ring that we can find and start up. We got 2 boxers. We got 1 professional boxer. We got 1 ready. He looks over at Millville, ready to learn something. And we got a doctor ready to patch him up after the fight. And we got yours truly ready to tell the story and make sure the masses know who the heroes are. How does that sound, Doc?
I mean, if somebody wants to put their body in the fray, that is up to them. I'm not here to stop you.
And what are you going to do with 10 script? You going to start a practice now? Come and join us. Make a little bit of money. And go part ways later on.
Seems like a favorable arrangement, at least for now.
So we got a voice. We got the fall guy. Sorry, Hubert. We got the doc. Need anything else?
Hubert's just like, yeah, I fall down a lot. It's fine.
You don't fall down, Hubert. You're the underdog. You're going to come from behind and win the fight with no one looking. How does that sound?
I don't like when you talk about dogs because, I mean, they try to, they try to hump me a lot, and I don't like it, and it's really unsettling. I don't like dogs.
It's a figure of speech, Herbert. Don't worry. We got this figured out for you. All you have to do is show up and look pretty. Maybe take a lick or 2, but that's part of the job.
I mean, my wife told me I was very, very unattractive, but I mean, I'll do my best.
Boxers don't gotta be attractive.
I look at Tobias.
I say you don't have to. It helps if you are.
Okay.
Hey,
Do you
Brent.
mind if we stop by the Starlight Theater first?
The Star Theater, best show in town. We'll get that situated. We'll do that tonight. How's that sound?
Sounds like a
Mr.
plan.
Go for it.
Mr. DM,
Deanna,
sir.
go for it.
I'm gonna yell.
What's up,
Mr.
Lon?
DM, sir, have I been here before? Like in a game.
You've walked past the house LeBlanc,
But I've never been in before.
You haven't been inside it.
So I
but
wouldn't know. Okay.
as you are lingering outside,
I'm not lingering too long, but
you're not lingering too long, but you hear from behind you a
I am going to completely ignore them and walk into the restaurant.
I go into the bathroom.
Is it a multi-stall bathroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, the modern amenities.
So I've done a lot of research in the technology of 1902. Unfortunately, one of the things I didn't do is what bathrooms looked like. So I'm going to say it's a
It's a
multi-stalled
byproduct
bathroom.
of the magic. The magic makes it so that there's cubicles in the restaurant.
I knew that the first slot machine came out in like 1984, and it's called the Liberty Bell. Got that down. Didn't know about toilets. So, sorry.
1984 or 1894?
I think it was 1984. I could be wrong, but the Liberty Bell is pretty old. It's definitely in 1902. I wanted to make sure there should be slot machines.
1984 is 2 years before you were born. But
1894. I meant 1894 then. Yep.
Yep.
It exists in this world.
Anyway,
I do my
Yeah,
research.
sorry, I'm
You
giving
go
you a
into
hard
the bathroom.
As I walk into the bathroom, do I spot?
I'm in a stall, sitting in that way.
Okay.
If you've ever been a very nervous middle schooler, you might know the trick of going into a stall, locking the door, and putting your feet up on the seat so no one knows you're in the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
I'm gonna just sort of stride over to wherever there might be a sink, and just lean against it, and say, "Did you climb out the window, or are you in here?" And are you okay?
There's a long pause. You're being followed.
By that guy?
Him too, apparently.
Okay.
Different guy.
Do you need help?
I'm fine. You're being followed. You're a tall man with a top hat.
And that's why you're sitting in a toilet right now? And you're fine?
Well, I don't like the man in the red coat. In general, the men in the red coats are not. Do you have to pee? Why are you here?
I wanted to talk to you. I don't like the red coats either.
You should say it more quietly. I should say it more quietly. There could be another red coat in the next stall over doing the same thing I am, and we wouldn't know.
And I can promise you, and I walk over and I kick the door open to the next stall over,
Just slams open.
that there's nobody in there, and had there been somebody in there, I bet you and I could have taken them.
What gives you the idea I can fight?
If you don't need help, no idea. I just know that you and I could probably take them.
I could help you. I don't need your help, but I could help you.
Yeah, I could use some help.
Yeah, with the man who's following you.
I have a couple of friends. We could all
I
use
told the
help.
man in the red coat that you are my mother.
It's okay, I recently got married. I'm okay being a mother for a minute, too.
Right. This is your 1 month, your 1 day a month that your husband doesn't talk about guild business with you.
Okay?
Yes. And we're out on a family dinner.
Excellent. Wonderful.
Right.
What's my husband's name?
You're married to him, wouldn't you know?
Touche.
I opened the door.
All right, great. I'm going to go to the bathroom now. When I come out of the bathroom, if you're still here, let's do this thing. Deal?
Yeah.
I step
Deal.
into the bathroom and I shut the door. What's your name?
All right.
My name's Ellie.
Hello, Ellie. Tonight, my name, Teresa.
Nice to meet you, Teresa. Tonight, and while I'm your mother, while I'm apparently married, I will be Ellie Melville. So just know that.
Ellie and Teresa Melville, right?
Excellent.
I sit on the counter next to the sink and I wait.
Yep, and I'm just going to the bathroom.
A little bit of an awkward conversation, but definitely efficient as you guys share this information. Eventually, you finish your business. The door opens, and there you see Colonel Asher. And he's smiling with those stark yellow teeth, and he says, "Well, I say, Ellie, was it? I do believe you found the orphan I was looking for. I just want to make sure we get her off to a nice home to make sure she's taken care
I
of."
told you that I have a mother and a father, and here's my mother, so...
This one? Right here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, little miss, he says, looking to you, Deanna. How long have you been in this city?
Why do you want to know that? Isn't that personal?
I'm just curious. I want to make
You
sure...
just got off the carriage this afternoon.
Right. I mean, I didn't... Well, I spent time with your mother back in, just a little bit south of Alexandria, and I didn't see you there. Where were you?
was at the hotel with Father.
Give me a deception check.
Okay. What is the target number?
The target number is with his stats. Eight.
8? Okay. Haha. Okay. That's gonna be a 14.
Boy, my mistake. Well, I feel absolutely embarrassed. Yeah, I mean, I was sure she was an orphan. Let me make
I told
it
you
up
about
to
my
you.
mother.
You know, you're right, little miss. I was far too aggressive. You know what? I'm gonna pull some tables together, and I'm gonna pay for your dinner. You know, and all of us will sit down. Yeah, boys, right? And he waves over, and like one of them dips out and like waves down the people that were around the corner at the window, and immediately tables begin to get pulled up together, and before you guys know it, you are all sitting at a table with Colonel Jeremiah Asher, you, Deanna, Ellie, and your other compatriots.
Us two, or
Yeah, you
all
they
of us, all
pulled
of us?
tables together. Like, there's even a few people that got kicked out. Like, they were sitting and they like got booted out by some guards as they pulled them together.
I will say, in terms of first impression, there's the physical description I gave earlier, but now that she's sitting at the table with you, she is openly just staring at you. It's very off-putting. Clearly looking for something.
Who? Me? Or who?
All
Oh, okay.
Not so much you, mostly the two gentlemen, and a little bit Hubert.
Okay. Tobias is wondering how this happened, and I was about to order, and now there's this dude who I don't like is now with me. Okay.
You already have your food, I'll say, when it pours. Like, you guys, like, you got your food. You know, the pasta already came. You guys got your dishes, but like the tables still get dragged together.
Hello. Can I? Oh, Colonel Jeremiah. It's nice to see you again. Fancy meeting you in a place like this.
You remember my name, he says, and like he is just viciously cutting into lasagna and shoveling it into his mouth.
The
I
one he
must
didn't
say,
order.
yeah, like your plate. It was originally in front of one of like where Ellie would be, or like another patron. It just got shifted to him. I must say, this has just the most delicious of food. It is so nice to see you again. I mean, I guess you could call this serendipitous. How's your buddy doing? What was your name, Doctor? The question's to you, Doc Murphy.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of give him an eye and just like peer at it, and the name's Doc Murphy, but is it normal guild custom to sit down?
Well, and he sort of. This has been very enjoyable, but can I tell you a secret?
If you must.
Thank you. I'm what you would call a smuggler, hunter. And I'm rather good at my job. You would be amazed at the amount of people who throw away an opportunity for a quick script or a free ride on the old iron ram, and his eyes narrow. And he looks at all of you very seriously. And this time when the yellow teeth pull into a grin, it's a narrow grin, an angry grin.
Honey, and I turn to Hubert. Honey, Wasn't there a prisoner who escaped on the train? Aren't the guild members supposed to go and catch that person?
I mean, there was?
That's what all the guards were saying.
Yeah, there was. Yes. I'm sorry. I'm just really nervous. It's a really tense situation. And Colonel Jeremiah's like, don't worry. I have that effect on people. Yeah, but there was a prisoner who escaped on the train. That's already been taken care of. I'm not a guard. I have different things. Hunting for illegal goods. And I hate to ask, but I have to. Is there anything you wish to tell me before we continue this evening? Any of you?
Do you have any reason to suspect us? My mother and father came here lawfully.
He looks at you and doesn't say anything.
I can tell you right now that the longer we sit here, our food gets cold. Personally, I want to go find a good place to rest. I want to eat some food, and I want to leave. So are you going to say what you want to say to us, or are you going to wait for us to say something back to you?
I'm just throwing out the offer. I want to give you a chance, is all. Anyone? Anything?
I don't think so. I feel like we would know if there was, or we would have, if we had any news, we probably would have fessed up. I mean, we're honorable enough not to carry any contraband, but if we had any tips on anything, the guild would be the first to know.
He turns his gaze to the only person who has not responded, Dr. Murphy.
The only things I've brought along are those that were required of me to set up a practice here.
He sighs, nods his head. I'm sorry. I have to ask that of everyone I meet. You would be amazed how many times a guilty party falls victim to their conscience. Just pulls them right into my web, it does. I know that was tense. I do apologize. So, and he goes back to eating. What brings you to Malifaux? Y'all have a place to stay? You seem to be a capable lot, but I'd be more than happy to put you up into some public housing. We've recently had a few vacancies pop up.
We're doing all right money-wise. We got paid this afternoon.
That's right. And you're buying us dinner, right?
Of course, on the house. Always happy to welcome some travelers into Malifaux, I am. We'll definitely take care of this meal. But hey, if you ever need a place to stay, what can I say? Criminals are in need of relocation every now and then, so houses pop up all the time. I could put you in one here or there.
Thanks for the update. Where would we find you if we ever needed you?
Well, just ask for me at the Cage of Grace, and someone will find me. Now then, I have to take care of all this news going on in the papers, if you don't mind. This has been an absolute delight, but the guild never rests. You'll stay on the straight and narrow, mind you. All right.
Thank you. And if you do me a favor, the next time you chat with my daughter, please, when you need to, come and chat with me or my husband as well.
I'll make sure to speak to you or your husband first.
Well, you can speak to her, but if she tells you to talk to us, talk to us.
Absolutely. Be safe, industry prevail. And he gets up and walks away.
Is there bread on the table?
There is bread at this point. You were also allowed to order whatever you wanted off the menu. Like everyone essentially like has their dish here. There's bread, there's butter, just like a nice, good Italian meal.
Take a big hunk of bread, and that's what I mean.
Okay. I assume I have like a nice plate of raviolis on the guild dollar.
You're welcome. I got our meal paid for. Just want to point that out.
How did that happen? 1 minute we were here eating, just eating, and then suddenly Colonel Jeremiah shows up out of nowhere. That's a story if there ever was one. And we have a new friend here, I assume. Miss, what's your name?
Teresa Melville.
Teresa Melville. Oh, okay.
My daughter.
Yeah. Are you my uncle or something?
I don't think so. Well, they say things happen fast in Malifaux, but I didn't know things happen this fast.
Uncle Tobias, come on. It'll be fun.
Uncle Tobias. I don't think I'm ready for, well...
Teresa, you can call him Uncle Toby. It'll be funny.
Uncle Toby. Toby.
All right. Let's Uncle's one thing. Toby is another thing. That's not happening.
No, that's fine.
Ellie, I was joking about you moving quick, but you did pick up a child and a husband rather quickly.
And you're a grandfather now. Congratulations, Doc.
Oh, my grandfather?
I don't know.
Not sure how that logic works out.
I'm just picking the next step here. Grandpa Doc. I think that's funny.
You're not all related, are you?
God, that's news to me. And I'm the reporter.
No, I mean, not that I know of.
Alright. That's fine.
And what brings you about, little miss?
I'm not little.
Apologies.
Thank you. I was going to tell you that you're being followed, but then I was followed. So now you're sort of being followed by two people, but you just sent one off, so now there's only the other one. There's a man in a tall top hat who's been following you since you came in the carriages this afternoon. And I thought you might like to know.
Is this man dangerous?
Probably. He looks it. If he's been following you lot, it's very common, when people come in on the carriages for certain types of people to stick around in the area, because a lot of people coming into Malifaux are quite stupid and quite wealthy. So if someone's been following you since then, it says all sorts of things about their character.
What does he want with us? It seems like there's, if he's just trying to rob us, it seems like there's plenty of other targets, so...
I don't know. I thought just maybe you might want to know, so I told you. I don't know what he would want you to do at all. He's very tall, and he smiles at you from a great distance, and... You said you work for the newspaper?
I do indeed. Is there a story that this man following us can have? He's,
I mean, if he kills you, that'll
people.
be a story, isn't it? People get killed all the time by things like that.
I mean, a murder in Malifaux isn't exactly news, unfortunately, but I guess we can keep our eyes open. We'll stay together, keep our eyes and ears out. We got a plan for the rest of the day and maybe tomorrow, so we'll see what's happening.
I'd like to slide my spaghetti over to Teresa, and then turn to Doc and turn to Tobias and say, Teresa, do you mind if we three talk for just a second?
Why?
Because they haven't met you yet, and I have an idea because we need your help, but I need to check in with them first.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Should I leave?
No, just stay, eat some food.
Okay.
And I get up and walk. I walk away from the table and wait expectantly with arms crossed.
I'll go over there.
I'll go over there.
All right.
We need her help now? That's okay.
I walked in the bathroom. It was clear that Colonel Jeremiah had some interest. The only way to get her to follow me was to have her offer me help. So, what is she? Our pickpocket in the boxing ring? Like, what's, I need help here. I'm not gonna come up with a role here. I think we had a pretty solid team beforehand, but I want to, if possible, invite her to join.
Okay.
What if she just is my assistant? At least for this. I don't feel comfortable putting a child in the harm's way in a boxing ring.
What about if we pitch the idea to her? Maybe be an assistant or see if she has a good idea.
Okay. We did have a solid team. Maybe she's a kid. She doesn't necessarily need a job. Being the mascot. How about that?
I'm sure there's something she can probably do. And what did you say?
She could be there watching her parents.
Yeah.
You two are the ones that are fighting.
Can I just level with both of you for a second?
Okay.
We're going to have to figure out something because I'm becoming a parent and a married person very quickly, and that is worrying me.
All I'm about to say is that you did it to yourself. And you were quickly in such.
Yeah, I know. So it's happening really. I'm trying to process it. I might talk to both of you later. So are we in? Are you both okay with this?
I'm following the news. So this, if you guys are going to be interested, I'm going to write it down. This sounds good.
Grandpa?
I guess we can do it.
Okay. Go back to the table.
I've eaten the entire bowl of spaghetti.
Wolf, sit down.
Yeah, sorry.
So,
Did anyone have any wine?
No, I would have ordered a whiskey, and then I would have tried to order meat and potatoes, but I'm guessing that they probably gave me like a meat and ganache or something.
Yeah.
Or gnocchi.
a meat and gnocchi, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Teresa, we need your help. We have a possible event coming up where we're going to be going into some boxing arenas. And we might have a position for you. You could work
I know how to fight.
See, I knew you knew how to fight.
That was not the offer here.
Well, hold on. Hold on. What do you know how to do?
What do you mean, hold on? We're not starting a child fighting ring.
Hand-to-hand combat. I can use a knife. I have a gun. I do a lot of wrestling sort of thing, and I usually go straight for the eyes. What kind of wrestling? It's not formal. I don't have any formal training in wrestling.
No, we're looking for street fighting. Now, whether or not you're going to be participating, we'll kind of see if that happens. However, we do need, and I point to Huebsch, we need somebody training him how to use a knife. The last time he had a knife, he dropped it down a grate, and that was a mistake.
Huebsch is like, you point over to him and he's spilled his drink and he is like chasing after the glass, but he chases it and kicks it with his foot accidentally, and then chases it a little bit more and kicks it with his foot accidentally, and this is just going on as he is making his way across the saloon.
Is he your real husband?
No.
Good. So you want me to train him in hand-to-hand combat?
show him the ropes, tell him to go for the eyes if that's what you want to do.
I can do
I
that.
got it! And then it slips from his hands and shatters on the floor.
Good job, honey.
Thanks.
I can do that. I am trained in quite what. So just the boxing then. That's all. I do have some formal training in some other things, but I don't know if that's.
How about you come with us if you want? You can tell us what you know. We all have training in different things. You can see what comes out of it. Deal? And I put my hand out.
You make a lot of deals. I want to check out Tobias. What's the vibe I'm getting off of Tobias here?
That would be your scrutiny versus his deceive.
I don't want to deceive. Like I feel like I'm trying to understand what's going on with the situation as well.
Do a scrutiny, and based on what you flip, Tobias can tell you what you realize.
Okay.
Tobias, if you want to make a scrutiny check, you could make a scrutiny check as well on me.
I got a 15.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I am. I get paid to write down the news, so I'm going along with this for as long as it goes, for as long as it's interesting, for as long as, and this is one of the crazier stories that has ever happened. But it can make a good, not an opinion piece, but like
Special interest.
Yeah, special interest. I feel like it goes along with the immigrant story. You know, immigrants trying to come in and land of opportunity. It's going to make people feel good about Malifaux, and that's exactly what the Tattler is all about. So I'm in and willing to.
You're in, but you're on the outside.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, go guys! I'm over here writing it all down.
It's not history unless someone writes it down, you know. So I'm making history with you guys.
Yeah.
And as far as the scrutiny check is concerned, I'm honest as fuck about it.
Was there anything else we needed to resolve?
I let me scrutiny Ellie, I guess.
Doc, if you want to scrutiny me too, you could.
You just see Doc's like sunk down in the seat and just resigned to, I don't want to be here right now, and what the hell have I gotten myself into?
Yeah, that scrutiny's gonna be 8. So,
you recognize something? Hubert Melville was a means to an end to get to Malifaux.
How dare you?
Right. However, at the same time, I think what you're just bearing witness to is Ellie's commitment to support those people who are also in trouble in some way. And for both Teresa here and for Hubert, it's sort of the same unconscious vibe of, I'll offer a deal, I'll try to help, however that might look like. And it's not necessarily that I am fully aware of what I'm doing as Ellie.
okay. So Ellie is very the heroic type and willing to help out the people.
All right. I will shake Ellie's hand and say, very seriously, I really am going to help as much as I can. I've been in the city for a long time.
Oh, good.
Very long time.
Do you know any good dive bars?
I'm not allowed in usually, but yes.
Excellent.
Do you want to go there now? I finished your spaghetti, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I noticed. If it's still on the guy's dime, another round?
Of spaghetti?
Sure, why not?
All right.
You're here.
You
Another
guys. You guys spend the rest of the evening getting filled on all sorts of pasta, drinking to your heart's content. And I think now that we have all of our players introduced to one another, we have some guidelines, some areas for you guys to go towards. We're going to pause it there. And we're going to pick up next week where we actually start getting into a plot line in the world of Malifaux.
We're gonna abandon the boxing ring thing.
You know what? I haven't written a boxing ring, but I am going to now.
You don't need to. Ellie's gonna make it.
No,
That's
you know
right.
what? That's... You guys want to do that? I hadn't anticipated that, but now I know what I'm going to be working on next week. That's our next adventure.
If
We're going to go
Perdita-
boxing and make some freaking money doing it.
If Perdita Ortega is the prominent bounty hunter, get ready for Ellie Wylie to be the prominent name in boxing.
She's technically not a bounty hunter, but
Whatever hunter,
Never born
monster
hunter.
Mercenary.
A few announcements before we close out. I do want to remind everyone that with the holidays coming up, I believe Short Rest and Iron Valor will not be happening this week due to the holidays. We do want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving and make sure you're being safe. And I know it's a weird time, it's a dark time, it's a terrible time, but let's all love each other and be safe. We also need to consider a raid. Lauren and Daniel, what's the raid? Who are we going to? Who are we going to invade and destroy?
Yeah, so a couple
Couple
things right before we take out of here. We want to shout out all of our new followers. So Sesho13 with the follow, Wander Lily Dice with the follow, Wash Coolest has followed as well. Thank you so much.
Love, so much love.
Subscription from Poet Day Tristes. Thank you so much for that. Bits from Poet as well. And then Zeke Eat-a-tron, I guess, is what I'm going to go with. Definitely thank you all so much for the follows there. We want to appreciate everything that you do. We are going to do a fun little raid over here to the channel is Stream of Blood. Is where we're going. They looks like they are doing some stuff that'll be lots of fun. They're comedian people. Looks like it's gonna be super awesome. So we're gonna head that way. So
Exciting.
let me see. Let me try that one more time. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us again. No Iron Valor tomorrow. No Short Rest on Friday. Y'all have a good evening.
Bye, guys.
Happy Thanksgiving!
Have a good night.
Happy Thanksgiving!
All right. And we are